Chapter 248. All the experts present have been sucked into the Black Heaven Earth Gate. The only ones left were the governor of Wu Prefecture, the reincarnated servant of Wu Chu-Xing, the governor's daughter, and of course, Gu Qinsha. Gu Qinsha had long since hidden in the sun-moon altar space. If he continued to hide, he would probably be revealed and sucked into the Black Heaven Earth Gate. Wonderful. The changes in the Black Heaven Earth Gate far exceed my Dragon Gate. But it is also because my Dragon Gate is not complete. The main body of the Black Heaven Earth Gate is a supreme treasure in the primeval era, but it is still lacking compared to the Real Dragon Gate. Gu Qinsha was not in a hurry to take away the reincarnated servant of Wu Chu-Xing. He observed the changes in the Black Heaven Earth Gate and immediately understood many things. The Dragon Gate in his body was wriggling, fusing with his flesh and blood, slowly changing. Gu Tanjian, Jing Fanxing, the Wu family, and even a nest of 10,000 dragons have formed some kind of alliance. This is no small matter. Ever since Wu Dankong took charge of the study, there has been a lot of trouble in the world. Father is in seclusion, and the Wu family has risen under Wu Dankong's protection. If I can take in the reincarnated servant of Wu Chu-Xing and take in more reincarnated stars in the future, wouldn't my strength increase by several times? Gu Qinsha frowned. At this moment, he could not go out. His power level had increased rapidly recently. But in the face of such a situation, he still had to use his wits instead of brute force. More importantly, no one knew if there were other powerful beings spying on this place. No matter how much you ants struggle, don't even think of trapping me. Suddenly, a voice came from the Black Heaven Earth Gate. Rumble. It was F.A. Wuxian. He seemed to be enraged. In the Black Gate of Heaven and Earth, he suddenly straightened his body. Battle Sage Universe. Sweep away the evil aura. Protect the position forever. Defy the Tao and live forever. He let out a long roar, and many currents appeared on his body. These currents expanded outwards, causing the Black Heaven Earth Gate to crack inch by inch. Not good. Many people present, including Li Tiansheng, Gu Tanjian, Jing Fanxing, and the experts of the Wu family, were shocked. They had never expected F.A. Wuxian to be so terrifying. Suppress. Everyone was crazily injecting their innate energy into their bodies, activating their Dharma treasures, and taking pills that could replenish their innate energy. The gate of heaven and earth almost shone brightly again. Suppress me? What a joke. F.A. Wuxian was not afraid at all. Bang! Within his body, the fighting character appeared. Endless battle profoundness surged from the fighting character and exploded. Crackle. A huge amount of Gang Qi swept out, and the gate of heaven and earth was blown to pieces, unable to trap him at all. Good chance. At this moment, Gu Qinsha revealed himself. The dragon gate in his body swallowed and spat out, sucking in all the broken earth qi of the Black Gate of heaven and earth into it. He didn't try to snatch the martial song stars Upanishad, because if he tried to snatch it, he would become the target of everyone else. It might even cause everyone to fight over it and kill the servant. With so many experts gathered here, he couldn't guarantee the safety of this servant boy at all. It was better to pick up some ready-made benefits. This Jing Fanxing had pushed the gate of heaven and earth to the limit, incorporating the power of dozens of experts from the Wu clan. In addition to the input of Gu Tanjian, Li Tiansheng, and the others, the gate of heaven and earth was exquisite. When F.A. Wuxian blasted the gate of heaven and earth, the essence qi of the gate of heaven and earth collapsed. Gu Qinsha absorbed the collapsed essence qi. Not only would his dragon gate be nourished, but with the collapsed essence qi, Gu Qinsha could also learn the profound meaning of the gate of heaven and earth. After comprehending it, he could use it to strengthen his cultivation and the changes of the Dragon Gate. His Dragon Gate was still imperfect and was still in the growth stage. In the process of growth, he had to constantly absorb the profound meaning of various cultivation methods to perfect it, get rid of the false and retain the true, and finally reach the peak. In an instant, he absorbed all the collapsed earth chi of the gate of heaven and earth. Gu Chunsha only felt that the shadow of the gate of heaven and earth in the Dragon Gate was successfully condensed again. At this time, Fa Wuxian broke free and immediately grabbed the servant. His innate earth chi revolved around his body and wrapped him up. He turned into a rainbow and shook upwards. Boom, boom, boom. There were consecutive explosions, and the Wu clan's array was instantly broken. Dozens of experts from the Wu clan vomited blood and fell to the ground like raindrops. The old man from the Wu clan who had cultivated to the Golden Core realm wanted to stop him, but Fa Wuxian simply struck out a palm in the air, smashing the old man's body into pieces, and he couldn't stop him at all. Fa Wuxian's speed was extremely fast. He turned into a rainbow and rushed into the clouds. In just a flash, he had completely disappeared. His speed was probably faster than the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag, and even Golden Core realm experts couldn't catch up. Chase. This time, even Gu Tanjian couldn't help it. Everyone flew up and chased in the direction where Fa Wuxian disappeared. No one was willing to accept it. The thing that they had planned for so long was actually taken away by Fa Wuxian. Only Gu Chunsha didn't chase. He knew that with Fa Wuxian's strength, he couldn't catch up at all. Moreover, there was the legalism behind Fa Wuxian, and there were also old monsters guiding them. I didn't expect Fa Wuxian to take away the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing. Gu Chunsha shook his head. This mission was a failure, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't stop a strong person like Fa Wuxian alone. Fortunately, he didn't come to the Wu province without any gains. He subdued 2 snake demons and obtained the Book of Heavenly Demon. If he could open the restriction in it, the value would be far above the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing. However, it was a pity that the servant was originally the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing. Now that he was in the hands of Fa Wuxian, it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Everyone went to chase after Fa Wuxian. There were only a few people left in the originally bustling Governor Manor. There was no need for Gu Chunsha to hide his body, so he directly showed himself. Wu Province's Governor-General's son, Zhengxing greets your highness. Sun Jingxing knelt on one knee. Gu Chunsha couldn't be compared to Gu Tanjian. He controlled the Department of Tranquility in the imperial court. When he joined forces with Liu Baiwei and Gu Huasha, his power grew stronger and stronger. It was said that he had already gained the support of hundreds of second- and third-rate immortal sections. It was like a rolling snowball. Liu Baiwei also had the token of, as if I was here in person. Even if Wu Dankong was now the head of the Imperial Concubine, she couldn't order the Celestial Designer Academy in the Department of Tranquility. Wu Province's Governor-General's son, Zhengxing, knew that if the Department of Tranquility continued to develop like this, it would probably become the #1 power in the world in 8 to 10 years. Sun Jingxing, His Majesty has long since decreed that all the reincarnations of Wu Chu Xing have to be included in the Department of Tranquility. Why do you still collude with Gu Tanjian? Gu Chunsha didn't ask Sun Jingxing to stand up. This lowly official didn't collude with the heir. It's just that the heir is stirring up trouble in Wu Province, and this lowly official can't do anything about it. Sun Jingxing didn't panic. Moreover, this lowly official didn't know that the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing would be in the body of a manservant in my mansion. This manservant is usually smart and quick-witted, and his aptitude is average. This lowly official didn't expect him to seduce my daughter. Damn it! He fiercely roared at the girl. You beast! You degenerate! You actually dare to have an affair with a servant. If this gets out, where will my Sun clan put its face? The girl trembled in fear and didn't dare to speak. Sun Jingxing, get up. Gu Chunsha waved his hand. This matter can't be blamed on your daughter. The reincarnations of Wu Chu Xing naturally have an attractive force that ordinary people can't resist. I can see that your daughter is also of average aptitude. If the reputation of having an affair with a manservant spreads out, it won't be good, but it's not a big deal. How about this? I'll take her to the Department of Tranquility and train her. She can also be a helper. Since Sun Jingxing's daughter had an affair with the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing, then bringing her into the Department of Tranquility would be a good chess piece. She might be useful in the future. Thank you, Your Highness, for giving my daughter a way out. Sun Jingxing's face lit up with joy. Then, please take her away. Very good. Tell your daughter a few things. The matters in Wu province have come to an end, and I have to go back to work. Gu Qinsha sighed. Sun Jingxing hurriedly pulled his daughter to the side and carefully told her many things. When he finished, Gu Qinsha rolled up his sleeves and suddenly flew up, disappearing. After a few breaths, he returned to the mountain where he cultivated. The green and white snakes were still waiting, observing for any changes. When they saw him return, they immediately knelt down on one knee and greeted him. Young master, have you taken in the reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing? The white snake asked. This child has fallen into the hands of others, and it's hard to predict his fate. But if he can survive this tribulation, I'm afraid he will have great achievements in the future. Gu Qinsha's mind was clear, and he suddenly understood something. The reincarnation of Wu Chu Xing comes in response to a tribulation. After this child awakens, he will definitely face a tribulation. Perhaps today is his tribulation. But since he came in response to a tribulation, he will definitely have the ability to turn misfortune into fortune. This girl shall be taken in by the two of you. Teach her how to work and nurture her well. Gu Qinsha pointed at Sun Jingxing's daughter. We shall return to the Department of Tranquility now. Yes. The green and white snakes hurriedly accepted the order. Young master, what about this altar? Should we destroy it? There's no need for that. I built this altar to gather spiritual energy and star force. As time goes by, this mountain will also be affected and changed. It could be considered as creating a paradise, and it will definitely be useful in the future. Gu Qinsha looked at the veins of the mountain range in the Wu province, and he had a different thought in his mind. The mountains and veins of the Wu province had long been secretly modified by the Wu clan. The subtle chess pieces that he had set up here might be useful in the future. Swoosh! He flew up with the two snakes and went straight to the Department of Tranquility outside the pass. In less than half a day, he entered the Department of Tranquility and met with Lu Baiyue and Gu Huasha. Then, after settling down the green and white snakes and Sun Jingxing's daughter, the three of them discussed for a while and went straight to Gu Qinsha's conferred land. Gu Qinsha's conferred land had been painstakingly built by the black tortoise baby. Right now, the mountains and rivers within a radius of a few hundred miles had already been condensed. In the ground, they formed the earth veins and possessed extremely strong spirituality. The black tortoise baby's strength was much stronger than Gu Qinsha. Gu Qinsha was able to turn a mountain peak into a star altar temple in a short period of time, and the black tortoise baby was even more so. It hid in the depths of the ground and could change its size at will. It constructed its layer by layer, and it was unknown how many formations and preparations it had made. This time, Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiyue, and Gu Huasha discussed for a while and felt that Wu Dangkong entering the study room was a bad sign. The heavenly talisman Great Emperor was in seclusion, and if this continued, the situation in the imperial court might have unpredictable changes. The urgent matter at hand was to strengthen their strength, and it would be best to open the Heavenly Demon Book in one go. Chapter 249. The Divine Demon Book was placed in front of him. No matter who opened it, a cloud of white mist would erupt from the book, guarding the book tightly. It was impossible to open it and read the contents inside. Only the green and white snakes could open it. However, this wasn't important. Gu Qinsha had already learned all the contents in the book and was now imparting them to Lu Baiyue and the fourth. The Divine Demon Book recorded countless ancient demon race mystic arts. They were very powerful and unique. With Lu Baiyue and Gu Huasha's aptitude, they were immediately enlightened and gained great insights. Their insights were reflected back, allowing Gu Qinsha to figure out many things that he hadn't thought of before. The three of them were peerless geniuses. When they gathered together to comprehend martial arts and calculate the intricacies, they could understand all the details in the Khanate Divine Demon Book. The 28 constellation Fey God transformation in the Divine Demon Book is upright and upright. It uses the power of the stars to form shackles and transform into the Fey god Starlord. It's equivalent to a supreme avatar cultivation method. This concept is simply amazing. Lu Baiwen marveled. When ordinary people cultivate, the connate stellar chi stored in their dantian is ultimately limited. They have to find treasures of heaven and earth to cultivate into dharma treasures, to store stellar chi, and temporarily borrow it. However, those are all low-level methods. This Fey god Starlord is in between a living being and an avatar. It uses the power of the stars to store stellar chi. This is something that many immortal Tao methods can't do. Only the power of the stars has such power. As she spoke, starlight appeared in her hand. The moment it landed, it formed a swallow. This swallow was ancient, dark and gloomy. It was one of the 7 constellations of the Black Tortoise, Wei Yuan, one of the 28 demon god star sovereigns. Unfortunately, it's meaningless for me to store connate stellar chi. When the great massacre divine art is cultivated to the limit, the essence energy of the myriad worlds and dimensions can be used at will, condensing into God massacre stellar chi. The various dimensions of essence energy collide and combine. As long as you willed it, you can produce endless stellar chi. Lu Baiwen dispersed Wei Yuan. The star power fell to the ground and seeped into the castle. Heavenly Talisman Great Emperor is truly powerful. At this moment, the black tortoise baby had become the size of a puppy, and it let out a shocked voice. If I'm not wrong, this great god massacre is using his supreme will to permeate into the millions of dimensions. Only then can he borrow the energy of those dimensions at will, combining them and using all kinds of formulas to brew and form all kinds of god massacre chi. This technique is equivalent to using his own will to control the myriad worlds, the past, the present, and the future. From the memories of my ancestors' bloodline, I've never seen a technique stronger than this. However, only the Heavenly Talisman Great Emperor was able to cultivate it. Why are you able to communicate with the myriad worlds and subdue dimensions? I don't know either. Lu Baiwen shook her head. Black Tortoise, Chunsha, the fourth, help me. I'll activate the Great Massacre Divine Art's endless realm, and will definitely be able to break the Sky Demon Book's restrictions. What is the endless realm? Gu Chunsha and the Black Tortoise Baby the fourth both asked. They were completely baffled. I can't explain it either. You won't be able to understand it either, but I don't believe that the Sky Demon Book can withstand it. For this, I even brought 9 celestial sacred dragon soldiers. They have already accumulated enough strength and can help me. With a wave of Lu Baiwen's hand, the 9 celestial sacred dragon soldiers appeared around the room. The celestial sacred dragon soldiers had actually shrunk to the size of an ordinary person. This wasn't a decrease in strength. On the contrary, it was a manifestation of power condensing. We know that the celestial sacred dragon soldiers require a huge amount of energy to support them. Gu Chunsha already knew what Lu Baiwen was going to do. The celestial sacred dragon soldiers were extremely powerful, but it wasn't very convenient to use. Typically, it would take 36 days to unleash a single strike. This puppet was an ancient desolate god. The Heavenly Talisman Great Emperor had bestowed it to the Immortal Tranquility Department as a stabilizing item. Each celestial sacred dragon soldier's strike exceeded a golden core expert's. Furthermore, the longer they were accumulated, the stronger they were. Most importantly, after obtaining the celestial sacred dragon soldiers, Lu Baiwen had conducted research on them. She often injected her stellar energy into them and cultivated diligently. Apart from becoming more mystical, the celestial sacred dragon soldiers had also obtained a huge amount of energy. With the help of the 9 celestial sacred dragon soldiers, Lu Baiwen was confident that she could crack the Sky Demon Book. Chunsha, inject your stellar energy into my body. We will transform. The fourth and the Black Tortoise will power the celestial sacred dragon soldiers. At the same time, we can use the immortal energy stored here. As long as we open the Sky Demon Book, we will benefit greatly. A smile appeared on Lu Baiwen's face. This is also an opportunity for us to improve. The Sky Demon Book's restrictive spell was jointly set up by many demon sages back then. Attacking their restrictive spell is equivalent to fighting the will of the ancient demon sages. This is a rare experience. The reason why they chose this place was because the Black Tortoise Baby had painstakingly managed this place. It had gathered a huge amount of immortal energy deep underground. This immortal energy was injected into the celestial sacred dragon soldier, allowing it to reach its maximum power. Furthermore, the Sky Demon Book belonged to the demon race, and the Black Tortoise was the god of the four symbols. It was a peak existence of the demon race. With the Black Tortoise's aura and bloodline, there was a chance of opening the Sky Demon Book. Everyone present sat up straight. A ball of light appeared above Clipchamp's head. Within the ball of light, mountains, rivers, and lands appeared. There were many commoners living there. Farmers, fishermen, officials, scholars. The commoners' faces were exactly the same as Clipchamp's. This meant that Clipchamp circulated his mortal people heaven-mending technique. You actually improved to such a realm and comprehended the crux. The fourth was truly astonished. The vast rivers and mountains and the common people are all within. Boom! Clipchamp injected the mortal people heaven-mending technique into Lu Baiyue's body. In an instant, Lu Baiyue's black hair fluttered. Her entire body emitted the strongest aura. The surrounding wind and clouds surged, and even the meteorological phenomena were triggered. Above her head, a black hole with a radius of half an acre appeared. Essence energy that was as viscous as jade flowed down and directly wrapped around the Sky Demon Book. Clipchamp's cultivation had improved extremely quickly during this period of time. He had broken through the most critical step and transformed the clumsy fist into the mortal people heaven-mending technique. This way, his Xiantian gang, Qi, changed greatly, and the benefits to Lu Baiyue were unbelievably great. With the injection of Clipchamp's gang Qi, Lu Baiyue was about to break through. Lu Baiyue's realm improved really quickly, and she was already at the 14th transformation of Dao realm. This was a consolidation process. Normally, top celestial cultivators would need to cultivate for dozens of years to train their souls. Only then would they be able to form the 15th transformation, Heaven, Eye Hanging Sky. They would be able to observe many mysteries and deduce all sorts of things. Thinking about it, 3 years ago, Lu Baiyue wasn't even at Dao realm. In just 3 short years, she had such huge achievements. Her talent was comparable to that of a natural saint. Actually, when Lu Baiyue cultivated alone, she was a top genius. But when she dual cultivated with Clipchamp, her talent was close to that of a natural saint. If not for her encounter in the Bone Burial Land and dual cultivating with Clipchamp, she would only be at the 7th transformation of Dao realm. At that moment, Black Tortoise and Clipchamp started to inject their own strength into the Saint Dragon weapon. Black Tortoise slashed with its claws. Celestial energy flew up from the earth veins, turning into a rainbow that injected into the depths of the Saint Dragon weapon. The 9 Saint Dragon weapons shrunk once more, turning into thumb-sized runes that wanted to drill into the depths of the Heaven Monster Book. How long? The Heavenly Demon Book once again erupted with boundless brilliance, firmly blocking all the attacks outside. Endless world. At that moment, Lu Baiyue waved her hands, and suddenly, a gang Qi formed into a shape. This shape was round but not round, square but not square. Clipchamp didn't know what it was, but he felt that a lot of energy was gathering in the depths of the space and seeping into the depths of the Endless World. The Endless World wrapped up the Heaven Monster Book. At that moment, the 9 Saint Dragon weapons drilled into the Endless World and occupied 9 spots. They formed a hole. Black Tortoise waved its claws and shot out all kinds of runes that constantly injected into the depths of the Saint Dragon weapon. The Saint Dragon weapon assisted Lu Baiyue, almost becoming her incarnation. Boom! The 9 Saint Dragon weapons transformed into an array formation and cooperated with Lu Baiyue's Endless World. It seemed to have the power to smelt everything and slice apart the gods. It struck the Heaven Monster Book's restriction spell until it radiated light everywhere. Very good. I don't believe that no matter how powerful the Heaven Monster Book is, it's still a dead object. The ancient demon sages have long disappeared. How can it withstand my endless world? Lu Baiwe struck out with boundless light again. Her endless world expanded, and everyone seemed to see the secrets of multiple dimensions. The will of the dimensions descended and blasted away all obstructions. Gu Qinsha knew how ferocious the power was this time. What exactly was Lu Baiyue's endless world? It was a peerless killer move that belonged to the will of the essence soul. It was a killer move that used the will of many dimensions to attack something. However, this move had to go through one's body, which meant killing oneself first before killing the enemy. However, Lu Baiwei used the 9 celestial soldiers of the Saint Dragon to release his will onto the Book of Sky Demon. This was the power of the great massacre divine art. It didn't use one's own strength at all. Instead, it used all kinds of mysterious formulas and frequencies to draw on a single point, triggering the power and will of various dimensions. Then, they would change with each other to produce peerless might. The many dimensions were like a sea of oil, and one's body was like a spark. One didn't need much strength to create an earth-shattering effect. However, this was purely playing with fire and dancing on the tip of a knife. Even though Gu Qinsha was now a peerless genius and could understand some of the principles of the great massacre divine art, he couldn't cultivate it all. Indeed, Lu Baiwei used the will of many dimensions to attack the Heaven Monster Book. Immediately, the fog on it dissipated inch by inch. Even if the ancient demon sages were revived, they would never have imagined that there would be something as terrifying as the great massacre divine art. Even if they joined forces, they wouldn't be able to defeat the Heaven Talisman Great Emperor. Under the unprecedented cultivation technique created by the Heaven Talisman Great Emperor, the book seemed to have loosened up. Buzz, the book trembled as if a space had been opened. Chapter 250. When Gu Qinsha heard Lu Baiyue's words, the scenes in front of him disappeared. What replaced them was an ancient era. The mountains in front of him pierced into the clouds, and the trees were 1,000 feet tall. Winged dragons flew in the sky, and there were many beasts that could only be seen in ancient times. He seemed to have been teleported to the ancient era. Lu Baiwei, Xuanwu Baby, and Gu Huasha were all gone. Not good. He felt that something was wrong right away and wanted to activate the armor to protect himself. But after activating it for a long while, he realized that the armor didn't appear. He summoned the Dragon Gate and realized that there was no demon descending blade either. He immediately sunk into his consciousness and realized that the talisman was still there. He calmed down. Thinking about it, he knew that he wasn't in a physical body but a consciousness, which was why he didn't bring any treasures in. This meant that this was the world of the Sky Monster Book. His consciousness was sucked in, but his physical body was still outside. The talisman had merged with his consciousness, so it was sucked in too. He realized that his consciousness couldn't head out at all, and it was like he was trapped in the Sky Monster Book. The world in front of him was a piece of desolate land. He didn't know where the exit was and didn't know how to go back. He also didn't know how to contact Lu Baiwei and the others. This situation is really bad. Gu Qinsha calmed down and thought about what to do. Suddenly, there was a sharp cry in the sky. A really fierce weird bird noticed him and saw him as prey, charging down. The weird bird's body was made of iron, and it didn't have feathers. It was just skin and membrane. Gu Qinsha recognized it. It was a desolate variant, the iron bone bird. This bird had gone extinct a long time ago. It was really fierce and could rip apart tigers and leopards. Its natural strength and attack strength could compare to a Tao Realm Transformation 4 expert. If a Tao Realm Transformation 4 expert faced this bird, he definitely wouldn't be its match. This was because this bird could fly. If it pounced down from the sky, how could a Tao Realm Transformation 4 expert be its match? Shua. Gu Qinsha didn't even think about it. He used astral energy, and instantly, the bird was sliced in half. You can even emit stellar energy in here? It should be a virtual world. When my consciousness enters, my cultivation mark is still there. This should be a virtual world, but it still follows some rules. It shouldn't be able to take away some of my instincts. I was able to cultivate to the Tao realm 10 transformations, and every step I took was really stable. When my cultivation and consciousness merged, I could show my strength in this virtual world. Of course, I can't use the dragon sex power. As soon as Gu Chunsha killed the ironbone bird, he sensed a mass of vile souls on the sun-moon altar. What? Killing virtual ironbone birds in this virtual world actually has vile souls that can be absorbed? Gu Chunsha was overjoyed as he hurriedly divined. Yes, although this is an illusory world, it's formed from consciousness. Consciousness is a part of the soul. The ancient Skyfae book has landed in the hands of countless experts over the generations. There were even Fae gods who controlled it before. It's unknown how many Fae were gathered and how much soul force was accumulated in it before it evolved into such a massive world. Logically speaking, if I am sucked in, my body outside will die, and my soul will turn into a portion of the Sky Monster Book soul power. Who knew that I would actually have the Heaven Sacrificial Talisman and be able to absorb vile souls here? Then, I might have a chance of getting out. As long as I gather enough vile souls and sacrifice them to the heavens. Can the Sky Monster Book trap me? What a joke. No matter how strong the Sky Monster Book is, it is much weaker than the Heaven Sacrificial Talisman. After understanding the current situation, Gu Chunsha wasn't in a rush anymore. Baiwe, the fourth, and Xuanwu were also trapped in the Sky Monster Book. However, they are at the 13th transformation of Tao Realm, Demon Swallowing and Ghost Eating. They can swallow the souls in the Sky Monster Book to strengthen their realms. Gu Chunsha wasn't worried about Lu Baiwe and the others, but now that our consciousnesses have been sucked into the Sky Monster Book, it isn't appropriate to leave our bodies outside for too long. My castle's defenses are strong, but if we meet experts, they will definitely invade. Gu Chunsha made a quick decision. He suddenly leaped into the sky and stood still. Although the ancient, desolate world formed by the Sky Monster Book was an illusion, it could carry his cultivation. Shwa shwa shwa. A few bolts of stellar energy shot out from his hand, instantly killing a few more iron bone birds in the sky. A few more souls appeared in the space of the sun-moon altar. In this primitive world, there were many demonic beasts, and there was no lack of tyrannical existences. Gu Chunsha knew very well that without the Dragon's Gate, he could at most fight and kill demonic beasts with 14 transformation primordial divinity. If he encountered some primordial divinity souls, he would be devoured by them. Therefore, he fought in a clean and efficient manner, without any sloppiness. Just at that moment, a low sound spread out from the forest in the distance. A stench charged into the clouds, and Gu Chunsha felt a little dizzy. It was like the poisonous gas given off by a giant beast. Although this was an illusion space, everything was imitated and it was no different from the real world. Gu Chunsha seemed to have comprehended some theories from this. The exchange of reality and illusion. Even the real world was sensed through the soul. All things in the world were comprehended through the perception of the soul. The truth of the world had to be understood through one's own heart. Roar! A huge snake head charged out from the dense forest. The snake's head was as big as a house, and its mouth was as big as a sacrificial bowl. Its tongue was several feet long, and a huge suction force came from its mouth. The air condensed into a whirlpool like a tornado, and it sucked in Gu Dusha. Immediately, an unparalleled suction force wrapped around Gu Chunsha and was about to swallow him. So powerful! When Gu Chunsha saw the giant snake below, he was instantly shocked. This snake was at least several thousand zhang long, and dense demonic qi was emitting from its body. Its entire body was grayish-black in color. He recognized that this was a giant beast that disappeared during the desolate era, the Tai giant python. This python was innately powerful and huge. Once it learned to cultivate, it would be terrifying. As the Tai giant python swallowed, Sciention astral energy revolved and contained the power of the primordial spirit. This was not a simple monster, but a great demon. Gu Chensha also recognized that the Tai giant python was using the heavenly demon spirit devouring art recorded in the Book of Heavenly Demon. He didn't dare to be careless. He could already tell that the Tai giant python's cultivation had far surpassed the primordial spirit projection realm. If his dragon gate was still around, killing this python wouldn't be a problem. But now it would be very difficult. He might even be devoured and refined by the other party. He could vaguely sense that in the ancient desolate era in the Book of Heavenly Demon, there were many demon souls devouring each other. He was just a soul that was absorbed by the Book of Heavenly Demon. He was no different from others. Fighting and escaping in this world of demon souls depended on one's own ability. Originally, Gu Chansha could hide in the sun-moon altar space under the Tai giant python's devouring. However, he wanted to train himself. His body swayed, and his Sciention astral energy transformed into a distorted force field, allowing him to escape from the restriction. Then his body changed slightly. His Sciention astral energy transformed into many runes, immediately concealing his body and vanishing. Without the Dragon Gate, although he couldn't kill experts above the 14 transformation, it wouldn't be a problem for him to hide. With Gu Chench's concealment, the Tai python couldn't find its target. It let out an indignant roar and shrank its body back. Several dozen breaths later, black smoke emerged from the head of the Tai python that was coiled in the depths of the cave. It actually transformed into a middle-aged man with a gloomy expression. To think that a new soul would enter the Book of Heavenly Demons. Could it be that the book has appeared again? This soul isn't strong, but it's very strange. But no matter what, it's just a demon soul. From now on, I can only be trapped here, unable to escape and return to the real world. I hate it. Everything here is fake. How can I get out? A long time later, the Tai giant python's primordial spirit burrowed back into its body. Then, its huge body shrunk back into the depths of the cave and hid. Clearly, there was an existence stronger than the Tai giant python here. It was afraid of being killed and devoured. Gu Chensha appeared once again in the depths of a forest without making a sound. He had seen the appearance of the Tai giant python's primordial spirit. I didn't expect the demon soul in the Book of Heavenly Demon to understand its situation. It's the same as me, but the demon soul is trapped and can't leave. But so what if it can leave? Clearly, the Tai giant python was killed in the primordial era, and its demon soul was sealed within. If it were to leave now, would it still die without a body? It hadn't cultivated to the 16th transformation realm. However, logically speaking, the Tai giant python couldn't have lived from the primordial era to the present. It should have died long ago. It seems that the Book of Heavenly Demon has the ability to preserve the soul imprint from being destroyed. There are many secrets in this book, and it's worth exploring and pondering. The most important thing now is to kill some weak demon souls and gather them. When there are enough souls, I'll sacrifice them and leave. This book isn't something I can comprehend at my current level. Gu Chensha already understood many things. Kacha. He casually broke a branch, and juice flowed out. There was also the fragrance of the trees. When he tasted it in his mouth, it had a different taste. He clearly knew that everything here was fake, but Gu Chensha couldn't find any flaws at all. As a result, he couldn't help but feel a mysterious feeling in the depths of his heart. He activated a mystic art, and his body appeared and disappeared. He sensed the aura of the demon souls in the primordial forest. He was like the king of ghosts and gods. When he encountered weak demon souls, he would suddenly appear and kill them. The souls would be stored in the altar, and when he encountered powerful demon souls, he would hide. In less than a few hours, dozens of demon souls appeared in the sun-moon altar. Chapter 251. Puchi. A golden centipede died in Gu Chench's hands. This centipede was dozens of feet long, and its body shone brightly. Its claws were sharp, and it had wings on its back. It was really quick. Its cultivation was also at Dao Realm 9 Transformation Glass Jade Body. But in Gu Chinch's hands, he killed it right away without even needing a single move. After it was killed, its corpse fell to the ground. Originally, this centipede corpse was a good thing and could be used to refine many medicines. But Gu Qinshan knew that it was fake and couldn't be taken out. He tried to send the corpse into the sun-moon altar, but the moment it entered, it disappeared and turned into nothing. This further proved that this world was fake and only existed in one's consciousness. Only the soul was real. But if he didn't toss it into the sun-moon altar, the corpse would still exist. He could even peel it off and refine it into armor, weapons, and clothes. All of this was just so magical. It was fake and real like a game. Luckily, Gu Chansha had the sun-moon altar to see the connection between reality and illusion. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to deduce everything in front of him. He continued to travel through the forest, and his killing speed became faster and faster. Who knew how many ancient monster souls were gathered here? After a day and night, there were hundreds of strong monster souls in his sun-moon altar. They were all around Dao Realm 7 to 12 transformations. As for the other weak ones, Gu Qinsha was too lazy to bother about them. These monster souls turned into balls and were locked up in the sun-moon altar. They gave off strong monster energy and struggled to try to escape. Unfortunately, the space of the sun-moon altar had an extremely strong restrictive force. Once these demon souls entered, they were basically destined to be sacrificed. In the real world, Gu Chansha hadn't collected so many strong monster souls. It should be about time. If I don't think of a way to sacrifice it, and something happens to my body outside, then I really won't be able to head out. Gu Chansha studied it for a long time and realized that this world was huge. Who knew how many monster souls there were? He couldn't stay here for long. Soul summoning ritual. In that moment, Gu Chansha made up his mind as to what type of sacrifice he was going to perform. What he was going to perform was the grand soul summoning sacrifice. If the soul encountered some sort of danger and was taken away by someone, or if the soul was temporarily dispersed, then as long as it didn't exceed a certain time limit, the sacrifice would allow the soul to return to the fleshly body. Gu Chinch's soul had been taken away by the Sky Demon book, so it was perfect for him to perform the grand soul-summoning sacrifice. Boundless heaven and earth, sun and moon summon souls, sacrifice to the firmament, resurrect the dead. Gu Chansha activated the ritual. In an instant, boundless light radiated from his body. A white hole appeared on top of his head as a part of it caved in. Gu Chinch's soul was directly sucked away. In an instant, an unknown amount of turbulence occurred in the entire virtual world, and countless powerful consciousnesses gathered there in an instant. A soul actually broke through the restraints of the Sky Demon book. What's going on? This has never happened before. Our souls have been trapped in the book, and there is no way we can escape. Kill, kill, kill. I hate it. I've been trapped for 5,000 years. Don't worry. This week's soul will come back sooner or later. When the time comes, we'll devour this person and find the secret to his exit. Eat, we must eat. The strength of these consciousnesses was simply unbelievable. Gu Chansha opened his eyes and realized that his soul had indeed returned to his body. At the same time, he broke out in cold sweat. When he activated the grand soul-summoning ritual, he felt those powerful consciousnesses. They were simply boundlessly ferocious. Fortunately, he didn't encounter them. Otherwise, he would have been devoured and consigned to eternal damnation. Oh no, Baiwe and the rest didn't come out. He was still in his castle, facing the Sky Demon book. As for Lu Baiwe, the fourth, and the Black Tortoise baby, they didn't wake up. Their bodies had no aura, as though they were dead. Clearly, their souls had been absorbed into the Sky Demon book. At this moment, the Sky Demon book emitted many rays of light, and there seemed to be multiple realms inside. I have to think of a way to wake them up. Gu Chansha was thinking of a way, but suddenly he felt a sense of danger. He raised his head and looked up. In the sky above the castle, there seemed to be a shadow that silently appeared like a dark cloud. Originally, The weather in the wilderness was really weird. Just now, the sky was clear, but who knew where the dark clouds came from? Rain or hail started to fall. But Gu Chansha sensed intense killing energy and demonic energy from the dark cloud. He cultivated all the techniques in the Sky Demon book and was really sensitive to demonic energy. "There's a monster." He waved his hand, and instantly the entire castle surged. 9 treasures appeared and gave off a bright light, locking down this place. His castle had been refined by the black tortoise baby many times, and its defensive abilities were really strong. It was no weaker than a cultivator's cave, and even people above Dao Realm Transformation 9 wouldn't be able to charge in. But just as Gu Chunsha activated the defensive formation, the dark cloud in the sky turned into a black streak of light and descended, smashing into the black tortoise ocean castle's formation. How long? The formation was totally broken. The black energy reached the center of Gu Chencha's castle. A giant hand appeared from within and grabbed towards the Sky Demon book, Lu Baiwe, the 4th, and even the black tortoise baby and Gu Chensha. He actually wanted to wipe them all out. "Bold!" Gu Chensha hollered. He activated the common people heaven-mending technique and the Dragon Gate. Instantly, he protected everyone and then punched forwards. His fist was in between real and fake. It had the unfathomable netherworld intent, but it also had the aura of a saint who cried for the common people and lamented the difficulties of the people. There was also the aura of an overlord who ruled over life and death. There was also the aura of a child learning to walk, the gentleness of a woman, the honesty of a farmer. This was the aura of the common people. The common people were ever-changing. The common people had endless possibilities. They could become immortals, they could become gods, and they could even become saints. They could also be ordinary and unknown existences. The heart of the common people was something that even the heavens couldn't predict. The sky wasn't high, but the human heart was the highest. After Gu Chansha entered the primitive world of the demon's soul, his state of mind improved once again. He comprehended the principle of following one's heart and that the world was just a dream. He could vaguely see the truth of the mind and the world. Under the activation of his fist technique at such a realm, the common people heaven-mending technique reached an unprecedented realm. The moment he punched out, he really had the courage to make up for the flaws in the heavens. This fist also had sacrifice. Pung. The intent of the fist was really invincible. With just one strike, the black mist dissipated. One of them scoffed and didn't expect that Gu Chencha's fist would actually be so strong. In truth, Gu Chansha used all his strength to activate the Dragon Gate's fist. Even the Golden Core Dao would have to avoid it. The black mist dissipated and a person appeared. It was actually a girl. She wore a red dress, and her face was exquisite like a painting. She was as cold as ice, and there was a red cinnabar mark on her forehead. Her hair was tied up with a simple grass ring, and her dress fluttered in the wind. She looked like an ice maiden from the 9 heavens who had descended to the mortal world. However, she was actually using a demonic technique. "I didn't expect you to be able to wake up so quickly from the monster, soul chaotic world in the Book of Sky Demon." The girl's eyes were slightly shocked. Then, she calmed down and said emotionlessly, "It seems like your companions still haven't woken up. Who are you? Aren't you afraid of being exterminated for barging into the King Manor?" Gu Chensha had already sensed that this girl's cultivation was probably above the Golden Core Dao. She took his punch like nothing happened and didn't even take a step back. Even Jing Fanxing and Gu Hu wouldn't be able to do that. If Gu Taxian was still here, then I wouldn't dare. However, he actually let Wu Dankong come to the court. That is a true compromise. He no longer has the courage to destroy everything that day. I'm sure that he has been banished by the heavenly Tao and can no longer appear in the world. This girl seemed to have everything in her grasp. There's no harm in telling you. My name is Kei Inger. You're the new concubine of demonic sage Li Wanlong in the nest of 10,000 dragons? Gu Chensha recalled that Li Tiansheng was oppressed by this girl to the point that he couldn't breathe. You know me? It seems like those 2 snakes told you a lot about the nest of 10,000 dragons. King Er's gaze swept around. You guys are really bold. The ignorant are fearless. You actually dared to use force to break the Book of Sky Demons' restrictive technique. Do you really think that you're invincible? It seems like you guys didn't inherit Gu Taxian's abilities, but their arrogance. Is that so? Are you here to take the opportunity to take away the Book of Sky Demon? Gu Qinsha was ready for battle. Not only will I take away the Book of Sky Demon, none of you will be able to escape. King seemed to be fearless. This black tortoise is still underage. I can refine it into my avatar. As for you, Lu Baiwe, and this Gu Huasha, I will also refine all of you into demonic corpse puppets. This girl's vicious words didn't match her looks at all. She was completely inhumane. She was indeed an abnormal demon. What a monster. Gu Qinsha laughed. I like to see what you're capable of. You're not my match. You're too weak. King Er's eyes became emotionless. This castle of yours isn't bad. I'll take it with me. I'll let you see my mountain-shifting divine art. As she spoke, Gu Qinsha realized that the black aura on King O's body had spread throughout the entire castle. This castle had been refined by the black tortoise baby for a long time. It had already turned into the color of amethyst. The divine beast cave abode also contained a lot of wealth. This time, King seemed to want to execute her supreme divine art. She wanted to permeate her innate chi into the depths of this castle and uproot it before taking it away. She was simply out of control. She was even more condescending than Fa Wuxian from the last time. It was no wonder that she was conversing with Gu Qinsha here. She had already executed her divine art and sealed the entire castle. At this moment, the castle had already become her main battlefield. Unless the black tortoise baby woke up, Gu Qinsha wouldn't be able to stop this girl. This girl spoke just now in order to find time to control the entire castle. Chapter 252. Gu Qinsha couldn't see through King Er's cultivation base at all. He could only feel that the demonic chi in her body was as vast as the mountains and seas. It was deep and unfathomable like the vast starry sky. Based on her aura alone, this demonic woman far surpassed Jing, Fanxing, and Guhua. She was the concubine of demon saintly Wanlong and the one who held the true power in the nest of 10,000 dragons. As she spoke with Gu Qinsha, she controlled the situation in the castle. Next, she would refine Gu Qinsha into a corpse demon puppet. Her body emitted black chi that seemed to be formed by many vengeful spirits. These vengeful spirits and resentment had existed for a long time and were collected from an unknown abyss. After painstakingly refining them, they could contaminate the soul and control the body. Gu Qinsha discerned that this cultivation technique was called the demonic demon refinement vengeance technique. So long as one was contaminated by this chi, the person would become a walking corpse that only knew how to slaughter and completely obeyed the master's orders, and it was extremely vicious. Kill. In the face of danger, Gu Qinsha erupted with unprecedented battle intent. He was not afraid at all as he circulated his astral chi with the power to destroy evil. Moreover, his will instantly communicated with the 9 heaven stars. The stars in the sky faintly descended and condensed into constellation demon gods around him. Flames surged and refined the black chi, firmly protecting him. 28 constellation demon god transformation, a supreme martial art recorded in the Book of Heavenly Demons. Very good. I didn't expect you to have cultivated the 7 constellations of black tortoise. Unfortunately, this little skill is like the light of a firefly in front of me. If I wanted to kill you, I could do it in an instant. However, to refine you and turn you into a corpse demon puppet, it would take some effort to make you beg for death. King did not care about Gu Qinsha's resistance. She spoke calmly in an attempt to disintegrate his spirit and will. The black chi swirled and turned into black flames that wrapped around him. Not only you, I will also turn your subordinates and the tens of thousands of people in your fief into corpse demons. Gu Qinsha did not speak, nor was he angry. The innate astral chi around him turned into a black tortoise and shrunk to protect him. The Dragon Gate continued to operate to protect Liu Baiwei and the others. K-Ing was actually unable to do anything to him at this moment. If K-Ing had unleashed a powerful destructive attack, she would have been able to shatter Gu Chencha's protective aura in one fell swoop. However, if she had to unleash a technique that would make him unable to commit suicide and had no choice but to refine it obediently, she would have to expend a lot of effort. The black flames burned fiercely and seeped in again. K-Ing seemed to have unleashed her true power. In just a few dozen breaths of time, Gu Chencha felt as if the pressure around him was as great as a mountain. Even his protective stellar energy was finding it hard to resist. It was squeezed inch by inch, and cracks began to appear on it. With the help of the Dragon Gate, he could definitely fight against a Dao Realm 18 transformation Golden Dan Great Path expert. But now, K-Ing was able to suppress him so easily. Her strength was terrifying. It's useless. If you cultivate the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and the Black Tortoise's 28 mansions, you will be able to last against me. As K-Ing spoke, the black flames split apart and actually transformed into many different colors. They were extremely bizarre and dazzling, and the boundless colors of the boundless thousand worlds were all contained within them. Gu Chencha suddenly felt that he could no longer hold on. Common people, men the heavens, condemned by the masses, resentment of the masses. Even though Gu Chencha was in such a dangerous situation and was about to be refined into a demon corpse puppet, his heart didn't change at all. Instead, he became calmer and calmer. The stellar energy around his body changed once more as he activated the common people, men the heavens technique that he had recently comprehended. Instantly, the sound of ghosts crying and gods howling rushed out from his body. Within the stellar energy, one could actually vaguely see the common people scolding the heavens, and their resentment filled the sky. He was using resentment to counter resentment. The moment this technique was used, K-Ing's resentment actually seemed to be melted with the resentment of the common people. No resentment could compare to the resentment of the common people. Gu Chencha activated the heavens mend the heavens technique and used resentment to counter resentment. Instantly, he completely suppressed K-Ing's resentment. Some of the black flames and colorful flames actually merged into the Dragon Gate and were absorbed by Gu Chencha to nourish his body. This is a technique that you created yourself? K-Ing was finally moved. Not bad, not bad. Even though this technique isn't complete and is very crude, it can actually absorb the resentment that I refined. Very good. Since that's the case, I'm not going to play with you anymore. Boom! A circle of light that resembled a peacock spreading its tail appeared behind K-Ing. The moment this light appeared, it was like a mountain or an ocean, completely enveloping Gu Chencha. Obscured by the darkness, the myriad thoughts of the common people summoned the soul and asked the heavens, refine the soul. Gu Chencha was once again faced with a huge pressure. This power was almost suffocating. However, under such a tyrannical power, Gu Chencha's mind was refined into a ball. His multitasking thoughts twisted and changed, breaking apart and being reborn. In the depths of his spiritual sea, all the accumulations were circulating crazily. His accumulations were very strong. He had used the Emperor's energy to offer sacrifices to the heavens and used the fate-changing sacrifice to turn himself into an unparalleled genius. He had learned countless techniques and was familiar with all kinds of ancient books. Even history from ancient times to the present was stored in his mind. At this moment, all these memories and knowledge suddenly fermented under the pressure and transformed into something completely new. Kacha! The memories in his spiritual sea seemed to be crystallizing and then shattering, turning into something physical. With a thought, the soul in his spiritual sea seemed to turn into tentacles that spread out of his body. He used his soul to see the truth and nature of the world. He had actually advanced to the 11th transformation of the Dao realm, the soul tentacle realm. This realm meant that from now on, Gu Chunsha wouldn't be able to use his eyes to see the world. Instead, he would use his soul to touch the world. His spiritual sense and soul would turn into tentacles. With his body as the center, he would be able to touch the nature of the world and understand the truth of the world. Everything would no longer be the same. After advancing under the pressure, Gu Chunsha instantly felt that his body's energy was different from before. It was 10 times easier for him to control his Xiantian energy with the soul tentacle. The degree of compression and density of the Xiantian energy was different. ZZZ. His Xiantian energy that was about to collapse reformed once more. The Dragon Gate shone brightly, and its strength increased by several times. Originally, the Dragon Gate treasure was really strong, but it had to be activated by God power. In the past, Gu Chunsha used his spiritual sense to activate it. Now that his spiritual sense had turned into a soul tentacle, he could control the Dragon Gate, and he could use 60% of its strength. If Gu Chunsha could cultivate his soul to leave the body and use it to control the Dragon Gate, then he would be able to use 90% of its strength. If he cultivated the 17th transformation, Tao-splitting soul clone, he would be able to place a portion of his soul in the Dragon Gate and turn it into his body. Only then would he be able to use 100% of its strength. At that time, K. Inger wouldn't be his match at all. Even now, when he used the soul tentacle to activate the Dragon Gate, the whirlpool in the depths of the Dragon Gate increased in size. Suddenly, a giant snake aura spread out from within. This was the full strength of the sun-swallowing boss snake. The Dragon Gate merged into the sun-swallowing boss snake bag, and Gu Chunsha hadn't been able to fully use its strength. Now that he used the soul tentacle to activate the treasure, one could see the shadow of the sun-swallowing boss snake within. The sun-swallowing boss snake swallowed everything and was a god amongst monsters. It had unparalleled pressure on the monster race. The Dragon Gate released its strength and once again devoured some of K-Ing-Er's vital chi. You actually broke through under my pressure. As expected of Gu Taxian's son, K-Inger suppressed and refined repeatedly, but she couldn't do anything to Gu Chunsha. She was instantly enraged. Since that's the case, I'll beat you until you're half dead before refining you. The space between her eyebrows suddenly split open and light blossomed. A strange demonic rune appeared. This monster rune was actually the word dragon. It was an ancient script of the monster race. It was unknown who wrote it. The moment this rune appeared, Gu Chunsha felt as though he was facing the heavenly demon chaos hole of the heavenly demon book again. His soul was about to be lost. Kneel! K-Ing raised her hand and pressed down. Kacha, kacha! Gu Chunsha's astral chi showed signs of collapsing again. At this moment, Lu Baiwei, who was sitting beside the heavenly demon book, suddenly opened her eyes. Her body emitted a blinding radiance as though her soul had returned. Lu Baiwei opened her eyes and had a strange smile on her face. She pressed her palm gently on Gu Chunsha's back. The great massacre god art's astral chi was activated. Her primordial spirit was also injected into the depths of the Dragon Gate as she joined forces with Gu Chunsha. Boom! The Dragon Gate received the activation of such power. All of a sudden, the phenomenon of everything collapsing and the shrinking of the universe appeared. All the light emitted by K-Ing was absorbed in an instant. What? How did you break free from the heavenly demon book's restraints? K-Inger was truly shocked this time. This shock was no small matter. That's the profoundness of the great massacre god art. You underestimate his majesty, and you underestimate me too much. Lu Baiwei's body crackled. It's not that easy to destroy my soul. If not for this, I wouldn't have dared to forcefully open the restrictions of the heavenly demon book. Her cultivation increased by another level and was already perfected. Clearly, she had devoured many demon souls in the primordial demon soul world inside. Her primordial spirit was strong and had accumulated enough. At the 13th transformation, Devil Devourer and Ghost Ghoul could devour different kinds of souls to strengthen one's primordial spirit. In the end, one's primordial spirit would be strengthened and reach the astral projection stage. As for Lu Baiwe, she had long been able to project her primordial spirit into the heavenly demon book to devour demon souls. That allowed her to skip a long period of accumulation and reach the 15 transformation, heavenly, suspending. At this moment, Lu Baiue's primordial spirit was condensed to the extreme. With her and Gu Chunsha joining forces, their power increased by several times. Demonis, since you want to refine us into corpse demon puppets, you can forget about leaving today. Lu Baiue flicked her fingers and a mirror appeared. It was the vast thousand mirror. This mirror was a treasure of the ancient emperor. Lu Baiue used her primordial spirit to activate it. When a mirror shone, a circle of light appeared and actually enveloped K-ing-er. In the mirror, K-ing-er's figure appeared. This mirror had the miraculous effect of absorbing souls. Chapter 253. Pilai Pala. With the help of Lu Baiue, Gu Chincha's Dragon Gate swallowed all of K-ing-er's multicolored energy. With a slight circulation, the energy merged into the Dragon Gate to nourish it. K-ing was locked down by Lu Baiue's Hao Qian mirror, and her energy circulation actually stopped. Let's work together to strike. How would Gu Qinsha let go of such a rare chance? He immediately used his energy to communicate with Lu Baiue. The two of them had worked together many times and were familiar with it. Moreover, both of them had advanced, so their combined strength was several times stronger than before. Gu Qinsha was at Dao Realm 11 Transformation Soul Tentacle. This transformation was the start of being able to use the power of God. 10 transformations, 1,000 ways was just thinking and calculating. 11 transformations was when the soul came into contact with reality and touched everything in reality. 12 transformations, soul snatching meant that one started to interfere with the souls of living beings in reality. 13 transformations, ghost swallowing, meant that one accumulated soul power and forcefully snatched it. 14 transformations, yuan spirit leaving body, meant that one could use the soul to interfere with matter. Kill. Gu Chansha and Lu Baiue. One was at Dao Realm 11 Transformation Soul Tentacle, while the other was at Dao Realm 15 Transformation Heaven, Hanging Space. When the two of them worked together, their talents were on par with Fa Wuxian's, along with the fact that both of them had really amazing treasures in terms of combat strength. Even Fa Wuxian might not be able to do anything to them. The two of them held hands, and their Xiantian energy connected with one another. They felt like there was nothing in the world that the two of them couldn't win. Heaven and earth were extremely close. Their souls, flesh, blood, and essence energy merged, and they were one with one. Between their wills, numerous tribulations could be shattered, and there were no more obstacles. Endless world. At that moment, a multifaceted object appeared behind Lu Baiue's back. At that moment, it locked down K-ing-er, who was being grabbed by the Hao Qian mirror. The multifaceted object then covered K-ing-er. Since you aren't afraid of the imperial dynasty and the emperor, then I will show you that even if the emperor is in secluded meditation, his cultivation technique can still shock anyone. I'll use the boundless realm to refine you, giving you a taste of your own medicine. The endless realm was the method Lu Baiue used to refine the Sky Demon book. Rumble. As Lu Baiue's endless world condensed, 9 tiny people flew out of the Sky Demon book. These 9 tiny people had human heads and dragon bodies. They had primordial auras. These were the 9-headed sacred dragon celestial soldiers, the puppets the heavenly talisman Great Emperor bestowed to the celestial commerce department. They were treasures from the desolate era and possessed supreme uses. Lu Baiue had been studying it bitterly over the past few days. She had entered the Sky Demon book to absorb demonic souls and strengthen her essence soul. Her cultivation level had increased significantly, and she had finally figured out the magical effects of the Holy Dragon armament. As long as the 9-headed celestial soldier of the Saintly Dragon had enough power, It could kill those beyond the 18 transformations of the Tao realm and above. Even those at the 20 transformations of the Tao realm could be killed in one blow. This was the ultimate treasure of the calming immortal department. If not for the 9-headed celestial soldier of the saintly dragon, Lu Baiwei wouldn't have opened the Sky Demon book so rashly. At this moment, she used the powerful cultivation she gained from the fusion with Gu Chansha to activate the celestial soldier of the saintly dragon. Together with the endless world, she wanted to completely kill and refine K. Ying-er. She was also filled with killing intent, even if K. Ying-er was demon sage Li Wanlong's concubine. Break for me. K. Ying-er didn't expect the tables to turn in an instant. She originally had the upper hand, but now that Lu Baiwei had woken up from the Sky Demon book, she wanted to kill her instead. However, she was also an extremely powerful person and knew that she couldn't do anything. Size manipulation, 10,000 dragons, transformation. In the blink of an eye, her body began to shrink in on itself. Her bones, her head, everything began to shrink. In the blink of an eye, she went from a tall woman to the size of a broad bean. That's right. Her physical body became the size of an egg. Even a golden core Tao expert could only compress their Xiantian gang energy. It was impossible for their physical body to shrink to the size of an egg. This defied logic. However, K. Ying-er managed to do this. This was beyond the 18 transformations of the Tao realm, the golden core of the great Tao. The 19th transformation of the Tao realm, size manipulation. This realm was the transformation of the physical body. It was said that after cultivating this transformation, one's physical body could be as big as 1,000 feet and as small as a speck of dust. Once this transformation was completed, the limits of the human body would increase by many times. One's strength would be much stronger than the golden core of the great Tao. Bang! K. Ying-er's body shrunk again, from the size of an egg to the size of a broad bean. The power in her body was condensed to the limit. With just a tremble, she broke through the restraints and disappeared without a trace. Lu Baiwei and Gu Chansha were forced to take a few steps back. Their Xiantian gang energy returned to their bodies. This woman's cultivation is very strong, but she is still below the black tortoise. A sharp killing intent appeared in Lu Baiwei's eyes. If she is afraid that the black tortoise will wake up, it will be impossible for us to kill him. Once she breaks through the great Tao realm and reaches the 19th transformation, her life force will rise to a whole new level. It is said that at the 19th transformation of the Tao realm, size manipulation, she can turn herself into a speck of dust at the smallest. It is obvious that this woman's cultivation is not perfect. Gu Chansha said, however, I feel that the initial transformation is nothing much. The further one goes, the bigger the gap becomes. There are very few people who can cultivate the golden core of the great Tao, and even fewer who can reach size manipulation. Lu Baiwei sighed. This transformation is purely about breaking through the limits of the physical body from a human to a god. When that happens, a human will no longer be a human. Gu Chansha also thought about it. Even if his body could shrink, he could only shrink it to the size of a child. After that, he would only be twice the size of a normal person. To shrink it to the size of a fist, a bean, or even 1,000 feet was basically unimaginable. Speaking of which, even if one cultivates the 18th transformation of the golden core of the great Tao, one will still be immortal. Only the 19th transformation is the celestial body. Gu Chansha said, I once read ancient books that the 19 transformations of Tao realm, size manipulation, are even harder to cultivate than golden core. Many golden core experts' bodies ruptured when they cultivated this transformation and they died. But if they really cultivated it, their lifespan would increase. The 19th transformation is size manipulation. The 20th transformation is gather and disperse. The 21st transformation is 5 elements. This is beyond the physical body. At that time, one won't be a human anymore. Lu Baiwei said, the 19th transformation was to make one's body small or big. The 20th transformation was gather and disperse, which meant that one's body had turned into energy, turning into a ball of energy. When one gathered, one would be a human, and when one scattered, one would be a gas. The 21st transformation was the 5 elements, which meant that one's body could turn into fire, Gui water, I wood, Gung metal, and Wu earth. Gu Chensh's Xiantian astral energy could turn into flames, but that was supplementary. Xiantian astral energy was still an energy that could be controlled. Moreover, he still had a physical body. At the 21st transformation, one's body would turn into true flames, water, wood, earth, and metal. At that time, the Xiantian astral energy would merge with one's body and become a ball of energy. With Gu Chensh's current realm, he couldn't understand such a realm. Right. How did you break free from the Book of Heaven Demon and return from the primordial world? Gu Chensha thought about something and was shocked. Without the Heaven Sacrifice Talisman, I would have been trapped there forever. You actually came out on your own? Of course I was prepared. The book absorbed my soul, and luckily, I comprehended the principles of 10,000 worlds, and my cultivation improved. If not, I wouldn't have been able to return. If I'm not wrong, you killed the monster soul and sacrificed it, right? Lu Baiwa asked. She knew about the details of Gu Chensh's Heaven Sacrifice Talisman. Then, how did the 4th and Xuanwu come out? Gu Chensha asked. Since we came out, then it's simple for them. Lu Baiwa said confidently. It's a pity that you didn't cultivate the ability to devour demons and ghouls. Otherwise, you could enter the great realm of desolation and devour countless souls to strengthen your primordial spirit. There is always a chance. Gu Chensha wasn't anxious, but the world in the book is a spiritual illusion. Based on legends, there's a real country and treasury. Who knows where they are? We must have broken into the spiritual space-time of the monster soul seal. That's the outer layer. Lu Baiwa analyzed. This is also the power of the Book of Heaven Demon. To crack this book, one must use one's spirit to break through the spiritual space-time of the monster soul and then come into contact with the core imprint. How do we rescue Xuanwu and the 4th now? Gu Chensha asked, do you have any good ideas? Actually, it's very simple. The 4th and Xuanwu will definitely not be in any danger, especially Xuanwu. I'm afraid he's eating happily now. Lu Baiwa smiled. This is a rare opportunity for Xuanwu to eat heartily. There are so many monster souls. Let him eat his fill. That monster soul also has an extremely powerful existence in the primordial world. What if it swallows Xuanwu's soul? Gu Chensha was still worried. Xuanwu is the strongest among the monsters. It's not child's play to deal with the pressure of a monster superior. Lu Baiwa said, even if it encounters a powerhouse among the monster souls, it should have the strength to fight. Of course, this is a tempering for it. If there is no tribulation, how can it become a true divine beast? Of course, we will rescue them now. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'll listen to your arrangements. Gu Chensha nodded. The Book of Heaven Demon is a Dharma treasure after all, and it's not at its peak. Lu Baiwa analyzed. Back then, the 9-tailed celestial fox, Aunt Hu, obtained this book, but she couldn't completely unlock the mysteries of this book. Later on, the imperial court destroyed Aunt Hu's temple. Aunt Hu is only left with a bit of her primordial spirit, and she escaped into this book. However, this book's vitality was greatly damaged again. Some of the ancient monster sages' imprints were even destroyed by the Emperor's Great Massacre divine technique. Therefore, I circulated the Great Massacre divine technique, causing the Book of Heaven Demon to instinctively fear this technique. Now that our strength has increased again, we can join forces and lure Xuanwu out first. It's a pity. If we could capture Kei Ing-er and sacrifice this demon girl, we could completely control the Book of Heaven Demon and obtain the treasures within. I wonder what treasures the ancient monster sages left behind in the Book of Heaven Demon. Gu Chensha said, if we can find some treasures with the aura of the ancient primordial Dragon Gate, I can strengthen the Dragon Gate again. Chapter 254. Gu Qinsha knew that he couldn't even open the Book of Sky Demon, much less refine it. But sooner or later, as his cultivation level grew stronger, he would be able to truly fuse this book into the Dragon Sect, making the Dragon Sect an unprecedented Dharma treasure. All right, let's rescue the Black Tortoise and the fourth first. Lu Baiwe suddenly conjured the endless world again. The 9 sacred dragon celestial soldiers transformed into a thumb-sized half-human, half-dragon snake form. They could actually change their size at will. This treasure was indeed worthy of being an ancient primordial treasure. Gu Qinsha immediately infused his sun and moon dragon's handle into Lu Baiwe's body. Lu Baiwe pointed repeatedly. Instantly, the endless world enveloped the Book of Sky Demon once again. Vaguely, Gu Qinsha saw the shadow of the primordial world appear on the book. At the same time, he seemed to see a black tortoise secretly eating demon souls. Receipt. Lu Baiwe pulled slightly, and the black tortoise was brought out by a mysterious force. Following that, the black tortoise opened its eyes and blinked its mouth. Why did you bring me out? I was having a good time eating. There are so many demon souls. I want to eat. As the black tortoise spoke, Gu Qinsha sensed that it had become much stronger. Its body felt like a huge river was flowing. You can't eat anymore. Lu Baiwe said, there are demon souls that are much stronger than you in the Book of Sky Demon. If they eat you, they might be able to break free from the demon soul world. I don't care. I want to eat. The black tortoise stared intently at the Book of Sky Demon. It wished it could swallow the Book of Sky Demon and digest it slowly. At that moment, the fourth also opened its eyes. Its eyes shimmered and it had improved greatly. Clearly, it had obtained a lot of nourishment from the Book of Sky Demon. In the Book of Sky Demon, many demon souls existed for real. There were many benefits after devouring them. There seemed to be some danger just now. Was there an enemy attack? The fourth seemed to sense something. Gu Qinsha told him about K-Ing-Er's visit. It was indeed a close call. If Lu Baiwe had not woken up, perhaps Gu Qinsha would have used his final trump card. That was the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's Death Immunity Talisman. However, the news of the Heavenly Talisman Great Arch bestowing the Death Immunity Talisman to Gu Qinsha had already spread, and this K must have known about it as well. Hence, it was impossible for her to come here rashly. In that case, she must have concluded that something had happened to the Heavenly Talisman Great Arch, which caused the Death Immunity Talisman to lose its effect. Gu Qinsha did not dare to give it a try, nor did he dare to pin his hopes on the Death Exemption Talisman. Damn Demonis, she's actually so daring. The fourth listened carefully and said, she saw that Imperial Father had allowed Wu Dankong to take control of the situation in the court. She also heard some news, so she thought that there was an opportunity to kill us. Wu Dankong is in control of the court? It's not that easy. Lu Baiwe sneered. This woman's foundation is shallow. Even if she holds great power in the study room, she can't convince the masses. Actually, the Emperor is just extracting her luck. However, we can't let our guard down. She has managed the Jingwu trade conglomerate among the people and is good at winning people over. In addition, she has the support of the Wu clan and Gu Tanjian stirring up trouble. She is definitely here for our calming immortal department. The situation is gradually becoming clearer. The fourth had a deep understanding of the situation. Right now, it's Gu Tanjian, Wu Dankong, and even the other princes. I've already received news that Gu Tanjian has used the dragon-raising pill as a lure to make the 7th prince, 3rd prince, 10th prince, 14th prince, and 18th prince form an alliance with him to suppress our calming immortal department. What can a motley crew do? Lu Baiwe sneered. However, the Emperor is in seclusion and allowed Wu Dankong to enter the study room. It's worth thinking about the Celestial Designer Institute's intentions. Right now, the various Saint clans are also one of them. They are secretly opposing the Imperial Court. Other than them, there are the 8 marquises, the 3 dukes, and the eunuchs in the palace who are truly loyal to the Emperor. The Celestial Designer Institute shouldn't have any ulterior motives. Gu Qinsha frowned. The people in the Celestial Designer Institute are all old antiques with tyrannical cultivation. If nothing goes wrong with the Emperor, they will definitely be obedient. Right now, they are loyal, but we can't put the safety of the world on the basis of these old antiques' unchanging loyalty. The fourth was very clear about the situation. You guys continue talking. I'm going to dig a hole underground. Black Tortoise became like a little mouse. With a swoosh, he burrowed into the ground and started to manage his nest. It's still difficult for us to open the book of heavenly demons. Our cultivation is not enough. Lu Baiwe shook her head, but it's not that far off. This time, Kanger actually dared to come after us. Since that's the case, we have to retaliate against the Yao race. The most important thing right now is to wait for the Yao race to retaliate. Kang will definitely be prepared. Gu Qinsha thought about it. I haven't been able to bring Wu Xiuxing's reincarnation back. That person has already been taken away by Fa Wuxian. We still have to think of a way to find him. Also, since Wu Xiuxing's reincarnation has appeared, the other reincarnations of Xingchen will also appear one after another. We can't leave empty-handed. I'm afraid that Fa Wuxian won't be able to obtain Wu Xiuxing's reincarnation either, Lu Baiwe said. I've already sent Jin Suibua to investigate. He's already gotten the news himself. As they spoke, the cycle box transmitted a message over. As expected, Jin Suibua did manage to get the news. Lu Baiwe said, as expected, Fa Wuxian didn't manage to obtain Wu Xiuxing's reincarnation. Instead, it was Chang Weiyang from the Profound Cosmos Gate who made a move. She defeated Fa Wuxian and the many old antiques of the school of legalism and took the servant away. Chang Weiyang? Gu Qinsha said, who is she? She was actually able to defeat Fa Wuxian? This person is the current sect master of the Profound Cosmos Gate. She's Chang Yuzhou's daughter and is also an antique who has lived for 3,000 years. Lu Baiwe said, this woman is a powerful character. She led the entire Profound Cosmos Gate to fight against the Profound Heaven and Earth Gate for thousands of years without losing. No wonder Fa Wuxian wasn't her match. So she's an antique who has lived for 3,000 years. Gu Qinsha analyzed, the Profound Cosmos Gate is unfathomable. Since Chang Weiyang is the sect master, she's probably an expert like Grand Preceptor Wenhong. Chang Weiyang's talent is rumored to not be very high. She's not even an unparalleled genius, but an ordinary genius. However, this woman has actually comprehended the mysteries of heaven and earth, the mysteries of the universe, and the vicissitudes of the human world. She has broken through the limits, causing her skills and talent to be completely disproportionate. This is an anomaly. Lu Baiwe had long since obtained information on this woman. There have been such anomalies in history. Gu Qinsha was slightly shocked. Logically speaking, only those with superior talent can cultivate the glass jade body with great fortuitous encounters and endless resources. Those with genius talent can at most cultivate the great Tao Golden Core. If one's talent and cultivation are not equal, then that's an anomaly. Gu Qinsha himself was not an anomaly. If his talent did not increase, then he would not be able to improve further. He could not imagine how someone with such poor talent could cultivate to such an unparalleled level. What was going on? It was like a bottle, but it could hold a large vat of water. If Gu Qinsha could comprehend this, then his cultivation would truly reach an unimaginable level. All anomalies were born after birth. They went against the will of heaven, so that they would not be bound by the will of heaven. Such people must have experienced countless trials and tribulations, and finally comprehended the vicissitudes of the human world, the changes of the past, present, and future. If Chang Weiyang was not an anomaly, she would not have been able to fight against the Profound Heaven-Earth Gate for so many years. Lu Baiwe said, however, this woman has always been mysterious. She usually hides herself and does not make a move. This time, she suddenly took away Wu Qiuxing for reincarnation. She must be plotting something big. This woman probably doesn't want to kill Wu Chu Xing after he reincarnates to steal the profound meaning of the stars, right? Number 4 said, after all, this woman seems to have comprehended the supreme truth that surpasses aptitude. Of course, aptitude is also useful to her, but I've heard rumors of the immortal Tao that this woman has a good reputation and is rather righteous. I hope that Wu Chu Xing's reincarnated manservant can live on. Gu Chansha said, but he is the reincarnation of the stars, so he might not die so easily. We want to find the person who reincarnated the profound meaning of the stars. But our cultivation is far from enough. Lu Baiyue said, actually, the person who can divine the changes of the stars the best is Wen Hong. His myriad star-flying immortal art is unique. This time, when the stars changed and the profound meaning of the stars descended into the world, he might be the one who benefited the most. I think you can find him again and learn some mysteries from him. Wen Hong, I feel like something is wrong. After all, Xian Dynasty's Chun Tian Wang also appeared that time. It might have been his intention. Gu Qinsha pondered for a moment. However, he took Buzhou Palace away, saying that he would return it to us. There hasn't been any movement until now. Furthermore, he opened Buzhou Palace and obtained some of the emperor's treasures and pills. He gave them to the Xian Dynasty's royal family. You can make a deal with him. Say that we obtained the Book of Heavenly Fei. If he can help us open the Book of Heavenly Fei, we will give up Buzhou Palace. We can also let him study many mystic arts in the Book of Heavenly Fei. After all, the 28 constellations fiend transformation is also related to the ancient use of the stars, Lu Baiyue said. At the same time, we can find out the whereabouts of the person who reincarnated the stars from him. A deal is possible. The fourth nodded. After all, Old 19, your mother has some friendship with Wen Hong. Moreover, Wen Hong is a person who is more polite to us. From Royal Father's point of view, Royal Father doesn't want to deal with him. Otherwise, no matter how strong he is, he will be suppressed by Royal Father. We are in troubled times now. We need to form alliances. If we can pull Wen Hong into our alliance, the pressure on the Celestial Tranquility Department will be reduced. Moreover, Royal Father once gave you the task of subduing the remnants of the Xian dynasty for your own use. If that's the case, I will go find Wen Hong. Gu Qinsha understood as he listened. Now that Heavenly Talisman Sovereign was in seclusion, the situation in the imperial court could still be sustained. However, if Wu Dangkong and Gu Tanjian colluded, the situation would gradually become disadvantageous. In the current situation, Wen Hong was the only giant that could be roped in. Chapter 255. That day, the Heaven Talisman Emperor gave them the best treasure. Apart from the 9-headed Saint Dragon's celestial weapon, the most valuable one was the God Dragon armor. The Great Yonko armor was split into normal armor, refined armor, Spirit Snake armor, War Python armor, Horned Dragon armor, Horned Dragon armor, Horned Dragon armor, Great Dragon armor, King Dragon armor, God Dragon armor, and True Dragon armor. After wearing the Horned Dragon armor, one would be like a top martial arts master. As for the Horned Dragon armor, people at the 3rd and 4th transformations of Tao Realm couldn't do anything to it. As for the Great Dragon armor, it could fly, and even Xiantian Earth energy couldn't break through it. The King Dragon armor was even stronger, and even cultivators at the 9th and 10th transformations of Tao Realm couldn't break through it. As for the God Dragon armor, it even had mental suppression and could block mental attacks. Apart from that, its defense and flying ability were shocking too. Cultivators below Golden Core, Tao Realm, couldn't hurt at all. Even a normal person with no strength could come and go freely in front of cultivators below 18 transformations after wearing the God Dragon armor. With such benefits, the other princes were really tempted by the calming Xian department. Let 4th brother wear the God Dragon armor. I don't need it. Gu Qinsha waved his hands. Actually, I have a Dragon Gate defense, which is far more effective than the God Dragon armor. As for the Sky Demon Blood Knife Shard, I will keep it. It is good for refining my demon, subduing blade. When Gu Chansha obtained the Blood Melting Blade, He used it as a sacrifice to turn it into the demon subduing blade. On top of the blood-melting blade were the human demon blood knife, earth demon blood knife, and sky demon blood knife. The sky demon blood saber was a peerless demonic weapon. It was rumored that in order to refine this saber, countless souls had to be sacrificed to the sky demon, attracting the supreme demonic will to attach to the saber. Man and demon became one, killing and stealing souls. When it met an enemy, a bloodlight would flash, and the enemy's flesh and blood would be taken away, turning them into a dried corpse. This increased the knife's strength. The knife could also turn into a blood demon, invisible and formless. Gu Qinsha didn't know where Lu Baiwei had gotten his hands on this shard, but when he thought about it, it wasn't all that strange. The Calming Immortal Department had already collected the taxes from hundreds of second- and third-rate Immortal Dao sections. It wouldn't be strange to describe them as wealthy as a nation. These Immortal Dao sects paid all kinds of taxes. Some were spirit liquids, some were medicinal pills, some were magic treasure fragments, and all kinds of wild beast carcasses and furs. The Calming Immortal Department had to count them one by one, and then set up a trading company to sell them. At the same time, they also had to do business with the Immortal Dao sects, exchanging goods. At present, under the management of Long Yuyun, Jade Frost Dew, Long Zaifei, Lu Yu, and the others, the Calm Immortal Department's trading company was already flourishing, almost suppressing the Scenic Martial Trading Company. But now, Wu Dankong had become the chief minister of the upper study room and was in control of the imperial court. This divine dragon armor is indeed profound, but it also has some shortcomings. The fourth said, "As for 19th brother, I think that your armor will transform into the godly dragon armor in the future. Why don't we make full use of it? Let's refine it together and fuse it with your armor, perfecting it. When the time comes, it will become a precious treasure of the Celestial Commerce Department, and it will be immune to the attacks of Golden Core experts." That's not all. Most importantly, we want to refine your Dragon Gate. Lu Baiwei said, "After coming out of the Book of Divine Demons, I comprehended many principles. I don't need many Dharma treasures, just one is enough. This divine dragon armor and your demon subduing blade can be fused with the Dragon Gate and make up for the flaws. In addition, I have prepared many materials for the Dragon Gate. This method is feasible." Gu Qinsha thought about it. Everyone has devoured demon souls from the Book of Divine Demons and obtained many benefits. We can use the process of refining Dharma treasures to temper our essence soul. The Dragon Gate absorbs all kinds of essence chi and has the effect of refining. The Book of Divine Demons also has some understanding and research on the primordial Dragon Gate. There are some parts that I can't completely understand, so we can study it. The Book of Divine Demons contained many introductions and research on the primordial Dragon Gate by ancient demon sages. The primordial Dragon Gate was rumored to be the origin of the demon race. As a demon, even a demon god wanted to find this door and enter it to obtain the secrets of undying. The contents of the Book of Divine Demons were profound. Gu Qinsha only memorized many of the Dharma spells and focused on studying the general principles and the 28 constellations fiend god transformation. It was still too early for him to comprehend everything. Dragon Gate. Gu Qinsha spewed out the Dragon Gate. With a shake, the door expanded. Astral chi surged inside, mixed with stellar vortexes and many spaces. In the depths of the Dragon Gate, there seemed to be a cosmic black hole. Under his tempering day and night, the Dragon Gate had long undergone a new transformation. Demon Subduing Blade, King Dragon Armor. Gu Qinsha threw his sword and armor into it. At this moment, Lu Baiwei also threw the Divine Demon Blood Saber Fragment and Divine Dragon Armor into it. Following that, she took out many materials from her bracelet and threw them in. At this moment, the fourth flicked his sleeves, and many jade, ores, and other materials surged into the Dragon Gate. Let's exchange our experiences from the Book of Divine Demons. Lu Baiwei said to Gu Qinsha, "You have already cultivated the Dao Realm Transformation 11 Soul Tentacle, so we can use spiritual sense to communicate. It is much more convenient, and we don't need to speak. We can also understand all sorts of things about cultivation. There were many things in cultivation that could only be understood and not explained. Guchan Sha had cultivated the Tao realm transformation 11 soul tentacle. So when he interacted with Lu Baiyue and the others, the benefits to his cultivation were unbelievable. When he taught others martial arts, he could use his thoughts to send the tentacle into their consciousness to send what he wanted to send in. If he improved and cultivated the Tao realm transformation 12 soul snatching technique, he would be able to control their consciousness and even search their memories to control them. This was how he used the power of God to do things step by step. The three of them sat down once more and spread out their souls to communicate within the Dragon Gate. Each of them had a different understanding of the Book of Divine Demons. Now that they were gathered together, they were able to describe their own thoughts regarding the records of the ancient Dragon Gate. The image of the primeval universe Dragon Gate that they had deduced appeared in their sea of consciousness. Xuanwu baby, come out and share your primordial Dragon Gate insights with us. Gu Qinsha used the soul tentacle to explore the ground, and in just a short while, he found the Xuanwu baby. The Xuanwu baby spread out its soul lazily. In my inherited memories, there is the true primordial Dragon Gate, but it isn't complete. If we can find Vermilion Bird, White Tiger, and Green Dragon and find the shape of the primordial Dragon Gate from their inherited memories, then this treasure will be completed. In a Xuanwu baby's mind, the primordial Dragon Gate was limitless. It swallowed the heavens, released dragons, and controlled billions of space. It was between existence and non-existence. That mysterious intent and comprehension seeped into their minds, and the three of them started to deduce. In the process of deduction, the three of them gradually reached a consensus. Xuanwu baby, help us condense the Dragon Gate, shouted Guchin Sha. Immediately, the Xuanwu baby released its power and blasted into the depths of the Dragon Gate. The Dragon Gate contained many materials, including the divine dragon armor, king dragon armor, demon subduing blade, etc. Under the fusion of the four's powers, they began to melt and become one. The Xuanwu baby's power was the greatest, while Lu Baiyue's power could destroy all things. Gu Chinch's power seemed to be able to mend the heavens. Under the refinement, the Dragon Gate would occasionally expand and shrink as it shot out brilliant light. Go! Vast thousand mirror, 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag, black vast dragon ship. In the end, Lu Baiyue actually threw the vast thousand mirror black vast dragon ship and 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag into the Dragon Gate. This alarmed Gu Chensha. These three Dharma treasures are extremely powerful. How can they be integrated into the Dragon Gate? Our tranquil immortal department needs a true trump card. Only your Dragon Gate is suitable. This is a problem we have thought about long ago. The fourth also said, if this treasure can be strengthened again, then when we encounter experts, we can rely on this treasure to gain a huge advantage. Black vast dragon ship, vast thousand mirror, and 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag are all treasures of the ancient emperors. Each of them has their own mysteries. However, there are too many Dharma treasures. It's not good to be greedy. Why don't we really gather them together? Lu Baiyue's eyes shone. This time, King Er's matter gave us a wake-up call. Following the emperor's seclusion, demons, devils, and ghosts began to disobey the authority of the imperial court. They even dare to sneak attack us. We have no choice but to gather our strength. Rumble. As the three Dharma treasures entered, the Dragon Gate changed again. It was as if it had truly come to life. The vast thousand mirror was influenced by the aura in the depths of the Dragon Gate. When it was pushed to its limits, it gradually turned into a bright light that looked like an eyeball hanging in the depths. As for the black vast dragon ship, it happily turned into a small dragon that swallowed and spat out changes in the depths of the Dragon Gate. As for the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag, it turned into a stream of air within the Dragon Gate. It spun and flew everywhere, causing the speed of the Dragon Gate to become even faster. Celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon. Lu Baiyue pointed again, and the 9 celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon flew into the depths of the dragon gate. They sat in 9 different positions and released a powerful force. What? Even the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon are integrated into it? Gu Qinsha was shocked. If that's the case, what will happen to the calming deity bureau? He knew that if the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon were to unleash their full power, each of them would surpass the power of a Golden Dan great Tao expert. When the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon were forged, they were made from the bones of the ancient dragon tribe and a lot of draconic chi. They also carried the scent of the dragon gate from the ancient era. Other than that, with the nourishment of the dragon gate, these 9 celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon will gradually reach their greatest power. Actually, within the dragon gate, the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon can also refine all kinds of Dharma treasures. When the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon cultivate within the dragon gate, they can gradually become one with the dragon gate, becoming the dragon soul that the dragon gate keeps. Lu Baiwe said, "Actually, the dragon tribe is the draconic chi that sprays out from the dragon gate. When it comes into contact with the bodies of many primordial divine beasts, they become dragons. When the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon become one with the dragon gate, their power can be raised to the greatest. This is the most reasonable use." Gu Qinsha knew that if the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon were truly stationed within the dragon gate, the dragon gate's spiritual chi would nourish them, and the celestial soldiers of the saintly dragon would circulate their spiritual chi within the dragon gate, constantly refining the dragon gate. Chapter 256. With the cooperation of the 4 experts, especially the black tortoise baby, powerful stellar chis, and power of divinity, fused the various ancient Dharma treasures. Days passed. After a month, Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiwe, the 4th, and the black tortoise baby suddenly trembled. They felt that after such a long time, the various vital energies in the dragon gate had finally returned to the sea and fused into one. The dragon gate was even more ancient. It revealed the vicissitudes of history. It was the appearance of the primordial era. Gu Qinsha carefully felt the dragon gate and discovered that the power inside was surging. It was very different from a month ago. With just a slight circulation, a mysterious and vast aura surged over. Boom! His Xiantian stellar chis fused with the dragon gate. The entire dragon gate gave birth to many runes. They were like true dragons swimming in it, causing his Xiantian stellar chis to be endless. There is also unparalleled mental strength contained within. And in the process of refining Dharma treasures for a month, he refined his Xiantian stellar chis to be extremely pure. His mental strength was also cultivated to be flexible. At times, it would be sharp, and at other times, it would be gentle like spring water. Lu Baiwe, the 4th, and the black tortoise baby also obtained great benefits. They were all very satisfied. It's done. A smile appeared on Lu Baiwe's face. The power of this dragon gate has increased by at least 10 times. The next time Qinsha, even if you encounter Kaying, you will be able to fight her. And if we join forces, we will definitely be able to suppress her in the depths of the dragon gate, never to rise again. What about the Book of Heavenly Demon? Gu Qinsha thought of many ideas. I'll study the Book of Heavenly Demon. With the great massacre divine art, I might be able to unlock some of its secrets. Even if it doesn't work, I'll be able to extract demonic souls from it and devour them. Lu Baiwe waved, and the Book of Heavenly Demon flew into her hand. I've also comprehended a lot this month. I can use the fate of the green and white snakes to open this book. The earlier we can comprehend this book, the more we'll have a foundation. Gu Qinsha nodded. Since that's the case, I'll go look for Wenhong now. I hope I can get pointers from him regarding the reincarnation of Xingchen. If I can form an alliance with him to deal with the future, that would be for the best. Now, everything is ready. We've been cultivating for the past few days, so we haven't taken care of the affairs of the tranquil immortal department. We have to go back and dismantle the alliance between Wu Dankong and Gu Tianjian. Liu Baiwei, and the fourth both felt that the calming immortal department had too many matters to handle, making it difficult for everyone to focus on their cultivation. All right then. Gu Qinshan knew that getting in touch with Wenhong was an important matter. If he could gain this giant's alliance, everything could be easily resolved. After discussing for a while, they split up and left. The baby black tortoise continued to dig into the ground to manage its nest. Gu Qinsha flew up and activated the dragon gate within his body. In an instant, he seemed to be able to teleport and was already thousands of miles away. The strength of the dragon gate and the speed at which it changed were beyond his imagination. He didn't even need to breathe to guide spiritual energy. Within the depths of the dragon gate, a huge amount of energy would surge out. This dragon gate was no longer the dragon gate from a month ago. It was merged with many materials, a set of god dragon armor, the king dragon armor that he cultivated so hard, the demon descending blade, the ancient emperor treasure, the 10,000-mile flying cloud flag, the vast thousand mirror, the Xuanhao dragon ship, and the 9 Saint Dragon celestial weapon. With so many precious treasures merged into it, along with the hard work of everyone, it was really mysterious. Gu Qinsha was one of the people who crafted it, so naturally, he was familiar with the changes in the Dragon Gate. He only felt really good. At the same time, he didn't dare to let down his guard. He used his own energy and soul tentacles to enter the various spaces in the depths of the Dragon Gate. He treated them as a part of his body and used the common people heaven mending technique to cultivate. He didn't use the sun and moon refinement technique to refine the treasure. Instead, he used the common people heaven mending technique that he comprehended. The sun and moon refinement technique was really exquisite, but the common people heaven mending technique was something that Gu Qinsha comprehended himself. Using the heart of common people to make up for the flaws in the heaven Tao was already in line with his Tao. It could also completely repair the Dragon Gate. Using the common people heaven mending technique to refine the Dragon Gate day and night, Gu Qinsha's own cultivation would also increase. Not only that, in a few years or decades, along with the increase in his cultivation, it would merge with his body. In the future, it would be really beneficial for the changes after the 18 Tao realm transformation. For example, when one was trying to break through to the 19th, if one could find a treasure to merge into one's body and allow one's body to expand, then the success rate would increase by a little. If Kang comes to kill me now, with just me alone, I can catch her off guard and make her suffer a great loss. Gu Qinsha secretly prepared. In just a short while, he arrived at the depths of the barbarian land, the place where he met Wenhong last time. That day, he and Qinlingyun came and flew for a few days and nights. Now, in just an hour, they were already here. Below was an endless lake. There were many islands scattered all over the lake, which corresponded to the stars in the sky. The last time he came here, his cultivation was not high, and his vision was very shallow. But now, his cultivation was many times higher than before, and his understanding of the stars was very accurate. He could immediately see that this place was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. It seemed that Wenhong had set up a big plan here. In the depths of the lake, countless star power swam in the earth veins, opening up something that vaguely resembled a world. Opening up a grotto heaven was close to the power of a god. It was to use unparalleled strength to split open the void and create a huge space that belonged to oneself in the void. Till now, Gu Qinsha still couldn't understand such cultivation, although there was a giant space in the depths of his Dragon Gate that was the result of many ancient treasures merging, and he didn't open it himself. Just as he was about to observe from the sky and see how he would meet Wenhong, a stream of star power suddenly rushed out from the island below, transforming into a bridge. A person walked over from a bridge. It was Qinlingyun. She made a welcoming gesture. The Grand Tutor predicted that you would come and ordered me to wait for you here. As expected, you came. Gu Qinsha frowned slightly. However, he knew that Wenhong was probably able to predict the past and future. This was not surprising. Ani's cultivation has improved so quickly recently. Gu Chansha nodded his head. It seems like in a few months, you will be able to cultivate the glass jade body. How can I be as quick as you? Chun Ling Yun said angrily. It seems like you haven't been having a good time recently. Are you here to look for the Grand Tutor? Ani, what are you saying? I'm now in charge of the Calming Immortal Department. A few days ago, I obtained the ancient treasure, the Book of Heavenly Demon, and cultivated a divine ability. My days are getting smoother. Gu Qinsha laughed and naturally wouldn't show weakness in front of Chun Lingyun. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor is in seclusion. I'm afraid there's a problem. The Imperial Court is already unstable. That woman from the Wu clan is presiding over the situation in the study, which is even more disadvantageous to you. I think the situation is already in danger. However, even if you don't come to look for the Grand Tutor, he will talk to you. Follow me. Chun Lingyun led Gu Chansha down the Bridge of Stars. Just as Gu Chansha got off the Bridge of Stars, he felt that he didn't arrive at the island below. Instead, the world was spinning and he entered an inexplicable space. This space was extremely large and probably had a radius of hundreds of kilometers. There were countless twinkling stars in the sky, and their gentle light sprinkled on the ground. In this space, there were many pavilions, pagodas, and palaces. They formed an array formation and suppressed the operations of this space. Could this be the grotto heaven created by the Grand Tutor? Gu Qinsha asked. That's right. A great force pulled him to the top of a palace. He could see the entire situation of the grotto heaven. These palaces are transformed from the Buzhou Palace. Gu Qinsha saw Wen Hong. At this moment, Wen Hong was dressed like a scholar. He was thin and tall, like a great scholar who was worried about the common people. Because I needed a very long time to create my own grotto heaven, I took away the Buzhou Palace and used this Dharma treasure, the ancient son of heaven Zhou, to quickly suppress the surrounding void. Now, I've finally succeeded, Wen Hong said. I know why you are here. Are you thinking of taking away the Dharma treasure, the Buzhou Palace? Uncle Hong is worrying too much. Gu Qinsha said, we recently obtained the Book of Heavenly Demon and don't have much interest in this palace. If Uncle Hong can teach us the method to open the Book of Heavenly Demon, how about giving this Buzhou Palace to Uncle Hong? Why would I covet this Buzhou Palace? Wen Hong laughed. There will naturally be a time when the Book of Heavenly Demon is truly opened. There are many reasons, and I can't forcefully interfere. However, from the looks of it, you and Liu Baiwei are indeed blessed to be able to obtain such a treasure. This is also where fate lies. Also, is your main purpose of coming here to ask about the whereabouts of the reincarnated Xing Chun? Uncle Hong's calculations are flawless. Gu Qinsha knew that he probably couldn't hide anything in front of such a person. However, Wu Chu Xing's reincarnation was taken away by Chong Wei-yong of the Universe Mystic Gate. Uncle Hong didn't do anything. That Chong Wei-yong is an anomaly. She has broken through the restrictions of the mandate of heaven and won't be restricted by her aptitude. I'm not her match at the moment. Wen Hong didn't hide his words at all. There aren't many such anomalies since the ancient times. There are even fewer anomalies that can break through the mandate of heaven than natural saints. Then what is Father? Is he also an anomaly? Gu Qinsha asked. That's not it. Wen Hong shook his head. Celestial stepping is a level that even I can't understand. I can't explain it to you. If you ask me about the whereabouts of those reincarnated Xing Chun, I can tell you. However, it is best for you to deduce it yourself. I will pass my 10,000 star flying celestial technique to you. You can combine it with the 28 constellations fiend transformation, and you should be able to comprehend the mysteries within. While they were speaking, Gu Qinsha felt an extremely profound intent being transmitted into the depths of his mind. The 10,000 star flying celestial technique was a supreme technique that Wen Hong comprehended. It was also a Tao that belonged to him. It was a self-created technique like Gu Qinsha's common people heaven mending technique. Gu Qinsha also knew that if he could deduce it, his cultivation would increase really quickly. This Wen Hong was teaching him how to fish. Chapter 257. After Gu Chansha obtained the myriad star flying immortal art, the star chart appeared in his mind. Many truths of the billions of stars flowed in his heart. This was the true essence of the universe and stars that Grand Tutor Wen Hong had comprehended. After obtaining it, it was equivalent to standing on the shoulders of a giant and understanding many things that he usually could not understand. Good. The Book of Heavenly Demon is indeed impressive. Wen Hong had obtained many Dharma spells from the Sky Demon book. He had comprehended the great Tao of the ancient demon race sage. With his cultivation level, he was much more thorough than Gu Chansha, who had pondered for 100 years. In an instant, Wen Hong had mostly comprehended the true essence of the various mystic arts of the Book of Heavenly Demon. At the same time, he transmitted it back. Is this the world that the sage of the demon knows? Wen Hong had a look of joy on his face. Interesting. In fact, the process of cultivation is the process of constantly exploring the unknown of the universe. We explore ourselves, explore Yuan Qi, explore space-time, and know all the unknowns. Everyone's understanding of the world is definitely different. What each of us sees might not be the truth of the world. Or rather, the world itself has no truth and is ever-changing. Therefore, the highest realm of the 36 transformations is embodiment transformation. With its power, you can move freely as you wish. He was guiding Gu Chencha's cultivation level. Gu Chansha felt endless profundities surging into the depths of his mind. His sea of consciousness expanded endlessly, so he could not think too much. He could only gradually comprehend and digest it in the future. The Dharma treasure in your body is an imitation of the Dragon Gate, right? It has fused many ancient Dharma treasures. Not bad at all. With this treasure, your strength will increase by at least 100 times. In that case, I will impart my understanding of the Dragon Gate to you. Let's see what the difference is between the Dragon Gate in your heart and the Dragon Gate in mine. Wen Hong transmitted his understanding of the Dragon Gate. Immediately, the image of the primordial Dragon Gate appeared in the depths of Gu Chencha's mind. This Dragon Gate was illusory. It sometimes appeared in the starry sky, sometimes in the mountains and seas, and sometimes in the hearts of all living beings. The Dragon Gate's shape was ordinary and moved according to one's heart. Gu Chansha observed this change and felt something. After an unknown period of time, he suddenly came back to his senses. He found that he had already left this place and was still on the island. Wen Hong had disappeared. Only Chen Lingyun stood beside him. The Grand Tutor is in seclusion again. This is the Buzhou Palace. As she spoke, a hazy image of a palace appeared in her hand. It was wrapped in the Tu Xingyun. I really don't know why the Grand Preceptor treats you so well. We are enemies. The Buzhou Palace was the palace of the ancient Emperor Zhou. In terms of value, it was definitely not lower than the Heaven Demon book. Even the top sects of the 72 mystical sects of the immortal Tao only had 1 or 2 such treasures. Of celestial Dharma treasurer, the Buzhou Palace was the Buzhou Immortal Palace. Tian Emperor of Celestial Demon. Dharma treasures. Yang of Immortal Celestioff Saint Palace, Buzhou, and of Palace of the Celestial Saint. Uncle Hong's realm is actually so high. Gu Chansha was startled. He knew that if Wen Hong didn't give him the Buzhou Palace, it meant that his cultivation level hadn't reached a certain level. But now, he didn't need the Buzhou Palace at all. This meant that his cultivation level was probably not below that of the ancient emperor. He swallowed slightly, and the Buzhou Palace was swallowed into the Dragon Gate. With his ability, he naturally couldn't combine the Buzhou Palace and the Dragon Gate. If he had the ability, he would have opened the Book of Celestial Demon long ago. However, the Buzhou Palace wasn't completely useless. He had long studied the Tao of Buzhou and was proficient in the Buzhou Divine Fist. To be arrogant, Wen Hong might not be comparable to him in some aspects of the Emperor's Tao. After all the emperors had obtained the Heaven Sacrifice Talisman and cultivated the Emperor's God Investiture art. Wen Hong had no such experience. The Buzhou Palace was forged by the Emperor Zhou, so it definitely had some imprints of the Emperor's God Investiture art. Gu Qinsha made use of the Dragon Gate's powerful Yuan Qi absorption to activate the Buzhou Palace. Immediately, the Buzhou Palace in the depths of the Dragon Gate also began to forcibly open space-time to absorb spiritual qi and immortal qi. There was even the power of the stars. Finally, it brewed and squirmed. His son Moon Dragon's handle was the best power to activate the Buzhou Palace. Tao of Buzhou, create the universe, create a heavenly soldier, achieve unparalleled achievement. Gu Qinsha secretly activated it. Array formations in many places in the Buzhou Palace began to operate, absorbing the spiritual qi of heaven and earth, the essence of the stars, and all kinds of energy in the void. Then, the core of the Buzhou Palace, the heavenly cycle apparatus, disintegrated and combined, gathering countless yuan qi to create a heavenly soldier. That's right, the greatest use of the Buzhou Palace was to absorb all kinds of yuan qi and combine them to create a heavenly soldier. A heavenly soldier was something similar to the heavenly works of great strength. This was a method of creating things from the void. Under Gu Qinsha's absorption, the Buzhou Palace operated, and soon, a heavenly soldier was born in the palace. The heavenly soldier was as tall as an ordinary person, but it was half human and half dragon. The upper half was human, and the lower half was that of a dragon. It wore iron armor and held a long spear. It was faintly discernible, and when it stood casually, it gave off a murderous aura. This was somewhat similar to the divine dragon soldier. However, just as it took form, the heavenly soldier collapsed, and it could not be formed. Divine dragon soldier? Gu Qinsha shook his head. My power is not enough to form the divine dragon soldier. Looks like I can only settle for the next best thing, a giant miracle soldier or a yellow scarf strongman. The Buzhou Palace gathered yuan qi to forge a heavenly soldier. It was also divided according to the person's cultivation. Those with low cultivation could only use a little of the Buzhou Palace's power and could only forge the lowest grade of heavenly soldier. Heavenly soldiers were divided into yellow scarf strongman, giant miracle soldier, divine dragon soldier, and finally the legendary hell-suppressing divine general. Hell-suppressing meant suppressing hell, preventing demons from coming out and wreaking havoc in the world. Rumor had it that the ancient son of heaven created the hell-suppressing divine general with the help of God Maha. God Maha Kasyapa was the king of hell. He was both righteous and evil. However, a heavenly general like the hell-suppressing divine general was only a legend. It had never appeared before, so the highest grade was the divine dragon soldier. The puppets created with this technique were extremely powerful. Logically speaking, if Gu Qinsha's cultivation reached the peak, he could use the Buzhou Palace to create the divine dragon soldier. Unfortunately, he was far from that level. He envied the heavenly designer demon god of Herculean crafts, who could create miracles unknowingly. But now that he had obtained the Buzhou Palace, he could also create puppets that were even more powerful than the heavenly designer demon god. He now had 6,000-year-old bone demons. They built fiefs, planted crops, reclaimed land, herded livestock, and repaired bridges and roads. The work they did was equivalent to that of hundreds of thousands of slaves. Now that his fief was doing well, it was mostly due to the 6,000-year bone demons. Calming himself down, he thought about what to do next. On this visit to Wenhong, he had actually retrieved the Buzhou Palace and received Wenhong's myriad stars flying immortal art, as well as his own understanding of the Dragon's Gate. These insights were of great help to him. However, to truly transform these insights into something of his own, it would take a long time to filter out the false and retain the true. You sure took it fast. Are you afraid that I'll swallow up the Buzhou Palace? Chunling Yun said sourly. What are you talking about, Ani? Gu Qinsha was in no hurry to leave. All right, my main purpose here is to form an alliance with you. What does Chun Tian Wang mean? Must we go against the imperial court? Alliance? Chunling Yun was puzzled. What kind of alliance? The Heavenly Talisman Emperor asked you to recruit us. Do you want us to join the Calming Immortal Bureau under your jurisdiction? What do you think? Gu Qinsha smiled faintly. In your dreams. Chun Lingyun directly spat out 2 words. The current situation is confusing, and you still want to recruit our dreams? I really don't know what the Grand Tutor is thinking. He's always protecting you. Uncle Hong is unfathomable. He must have foreseen some changes in the future. Gu Qinsha asked, does Uncle Hong support you against the imperial court? The Grand Tutor did not express his stance and let us act on our own. After all, Tian Huang is the crown prince. Chun Lingyun said, we can form an alliance, but you must give us benefits. This can be discussed in detail. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. We definitely have common interests. Really? Gu Tanjian has already begun to recruit us. Chun Lingyun said. He has offered very generous terms. Dragon Creation Pill, a pill that can raise one's aptitude to become a peerless genius. What? Gu Qinsha frowned. The mission given to him by the Heavenly Talisman Great Emperor was to recruit the remaining people of the imperial court. He had not completed this mission, but he had done a lot of meritorious deeds. He did not become a laughingstock in the imperial court. But if Gu Tanjian recruited this group of people, it would be equivalent to slapping his face. How would he do that? If you want to recruit us, you have to give us better benefits than Gu Tanjian. Chun Lingyun said, I will state my terms now. If you give me this Buzhou Palace, we can consider this matter. This is not something I can decide. I need to go back and discuss with Liu Baiyue and the fourth. It is not impossible. Gu Qinsha considered for a moment and naturally would not reject her outright. Wait for me to discuss it, and I will give you a satisfactory answer. As he spoke, his figure had already disappeared. So fast. At this time, a person came out from the depths of the palace. It was Crown Prince Chun Tianwang, the leader of this group. This child has obtained the Buzhou Palace and is like a tiger that has grown wings. Why don't you keep the Buzhou Palace? Chun Tianwang asked Chun Lingyun. This is the Grand Preceptor's order. How can I dare to disobey? Chun Lingyun said, moreover, the Grand Preceptor has his own plans. I also want to keep the Buzhou Palace. With this treasure, our strength will increase by more than 100 times. The Grand Preceptor is in seclusion? Chun Tianwang asked. Fortunately, we have obtained many treasures in the Buzhou Palace. Now, the Buzhou Palace is empty. We cannot activate this palace. Only the Grand Preceptor can. Chun Lingyun said, all right, what do you think about Gu Tanjian? Chapter 258. After Gu Qinsha left, he quickly returned to calming Celestial Department. This trip to the depths of the wilderness to meet Wen Hong had benefited a lot. He was taught the 10,000-star flying celestial technique and various other experiences. He also returned to Buzhou Palace, and his strength had increased once more. He had to cultivate and turn those experiences into his own. At the same time, he would use Buzhou Palace to create some heaven soldiers. This was also the best way to raise his strength. For a cultivator to raise their strength, firstly, they had to raise their realm. Secondly, they had to find treasures to store more Xiantian earth energy. Thirdly, they had to find some secret techniques like the 28 constellation devil god transformation to form an incarnation to increase the density of their Xiantian earth energy. These 3 things all depended on one's own cultivation. However, one's body had its limits. For example, Gu Qinsha was already at Dao Realm Transformation 11, so it was extremely difficult to reach Soul Snatching Transformation 12. It wasn't something that could be cultivated in a short period of time. His Dragon Gate would absorb and spit out energy, allowing him to store up enough energy. As for the 28 Constellation Monster God Transformation, he would only be able to cultivate it after his realm increased. So, in a short period of time, his strength had reached its limit. So, the only way to improve was to create puppets. Such things could be created endlessly to form an army. In the end, a huge flood would trample everything. In the god countries, there were large numbers of heaven soldiers and generals. In the Celestial Path Xianmen sect, there were many techniques to create heaven soldiers and generals. In the Demon Path, There are also techniques to create demon protector ghosts and gods. For example, the 1,000-year-old corpse demons that Gu Chansha had obtained in the past might not be strong individually, far inferior to cultivators of the same level. However, when there were many of them, with a bit of training, they could form a large formation that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Even cultivators of a much higher level could not withstand it. In history, there were Tao Realm 13 transformation demons who killed living beings to craft the 10,000 demon formation and even killed golden cord Tao cultivators. As long as one wasn't so weak that one could ignore all attacks, one could be killed by numbers. After Gu Chansha obtained Buzhou Palace, he decided to see whether or not he could create something similar to the Strength Ghost God from Heavenly Craftsman Institute. If Calming Celestial Department had such a thing, it would develop even quicker. Whoosh! When Gu Chansha landed in the Calming Immortals Department, he discovered that Liu Baiyue and the Fourth were extremely busy. They were replying to a mountain of documents and issuing orders. The Calming Immortals Department had gradually expanded and became the most important department of the Imperial Court. Every day, there were endless matters to attend to. Liu Baiyue, the Fourth, and Gu Chansha had been cultivating in seclusion for a month. Who knew how many things had been piling up, but now they had to be dealt with one by one. Fortunately, the two of them had high cultivation bases and were extremely fast. They circulated their innate stellar energy and were able to multitask at the same time. It was almost equivalent to dealing with thousands of people at the same time, so it wasn't difficult for them. Seeing Gu Chansha land, Liu Baiyue hurriedly asked, "What did he say when he saw Wenhong?" Gu Chansha spat out the Buzhou Palace. Wenhong is more terrifying than we imagined. He actually gave us the Buzhou Palace and imparted the myriad stars flying immortal art to me. I gave him the contents of the book of Heavenly Demon in exchange for the Dharma spell. Now, I'll impart all his insights to you. As he spoke, he had already spread out his mental tendrils. After cultivating the soul tendrils, it was very convenient for him to communicate. An hour later, the Fourth and Liu Baiyue had absorbed all these things. They came back to their senses from their contemplation and seemed to have sensed something. Wenhong's cultivation is indeed earth-shattering, but his ideals and Tao are also different from ours. We can only learn from him and not blindly copy him. This myriad stars flying immortal art is indeed amazing. If we cultivate it, we can indeed find some clues. Liu Baiyue deduced repeatedly. However, comprehending this art isn't something that can be done in a short period of time. This Buzhou Palace is a treasure like the Book of Heavenly Demon. Many of the elixirs in it have been taken away, but the core thing is the palace itself. The heavenly cycle apparatus is best at calculating and breaking down essence chi. The huge array formations in the palace operate together and separate the essence chi. It has the ability to create things. This palace itself is a huge manufacturing factory that can create all kinds of heavenly weapons. However, some places inside were destroyed during the War of Gods and Devils. Wenhong repaired a portion, but not completely. Gu Chansha knew that he could do it even if Wenhong couldn't repair it completely. This was because his Sun Moon Dragon's handle could activate some of the profundities of this palace, allowing it to recover on its own. No matter how strong Wenhong was, he couldn't learn from the heavenly talisman Great Emperor and surpass the heavenly Tao. Therefore, he couldn't know the profundities of the Son of Heaven God sealing art. Liu Baiyue knew this as well. This Buzhou Palace will be tempered in your Dragon's Gate. Liu Baiyue said, "The sooner we can create the heavenly weapons, the Calming Immortal Department will have the capital to contend with the Heavenly Designer Institute. That Wu Dankong won't be able to play any tricks." "What's Wu Dankong doing now?" "I think he'll target our Calming Immortal Department," Gu Chansha asked. "Look at these documents." The Fourth pointed to the mountain of documents on the table. With a thought, Gu Chansha activated his connate stellar chi, transforming it into thousands of tentacles that lifted all the documents up. His soul seeped into them, and in a few breaths, he understood all the contents of the documents. In the past, he couldn't have done this at all. In the past, his connate stellar chi could only sweep up or destroy the items being refined. He could understand the various characteristics of the items. But now, when Gu Chunsha activated his connate stellar chi, it was as though his soul was personally observing the various conditions inside and outside the items. Even some hidden things could be seen vividly. Simply audacious. After reading the documents in a few breaths, Gu Chunsha couldn't help but feel angry. This Wu Dangkong is simply causing chaos in the imperial court. Some of the things he's done are completely contrary to Imperial Father's national policies, especially by promoting the people of Wu clan without restraint. He actually wants to cooperate with the Jingwu merchant group's business with the national treasury. The imperial court has just gone through a great disaster, and there are many things waiting to be done. The Jingwu merchant group has begun to secretly encroach on the national treasury. These documents recorded some secret matters. For example, when the Baoyu Nation was recruited, the Baoyu Nation's army actually had fire talisman guns. This matter was done by the Jingwu merchant group and some of the prince of the sage families. Logically, Wu Dongkong's foundation is shallow. Even if he gets Imperial Father's decree to enter the upper study, he won't be able to do much. The ministers of the upper study are all big shots. Why would they listen to a woman? The fourth knocked on the table. But the bad thing is Gu Tanjian. He used the ancient dragon-raising pill to recruit 3rd brother, 7th brother, 10th brother, 14th brother, and 18th brother. Now that these people are gathered together, their power is extremely huge. Moreover, Jing Fanqing has pulled some immortal Dao cultivators to go against us. Our days are getting more and more difficult. Gu Chunsha understood the situation. Now that the three of them had established the Calmness Immortal Department, it was already a huge power. It was originally smooth sailing, but the Heavenly Talisman Emperor was in seclusion, Wu Dangkong was in the imperial court, and Gu Tanjian was causing trouble. 3rd Prince Gu Fasha, 7th Prince Gu Fasha, 10th Prince Gu Jinsha, 14th Prince Gu Yunsha, and 18th Prince Gu Hongsha. These people's cultivation wasn't considered much to the current Calmness Immortal Department, but the power behind them was huge. These years, they had been operating independently and had considerable power in the imperial court. If they joined forces, they would be a huge political party. Behind Wu Dangkong was the Wu clan, which was also a huge aristocratic family that wasn't inferior to the 72 mystic gates of the immortal Tao. In truth, the Calmness Immortal Department was isolated and without help. There was no true overlord overseeing it. Sage aristocratic families all had old antiques behind them. This was also the reason why Liu Baiwei was so anxious to get Gu Chunsha and Wen Hong to form an alliance. Although the black tortoise baby's cultivation was high, it wasn't an adult yet. If it was allowed to grow for several thousand years, it would be comparable to a sage. But where would they find the time now? The three of them felt that the situation was grim. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor continued to stay in seclusion, the situation would become more and more chaotic. It's necessary to suppress Wu Dangkong, Liu Baiwei said. The Calmness Immortal Department is a malignant tumor. We have to get rid of it. At the same time, outside the pass, in a courtyard of the imperial court's new capital city, several people were secretly plotting. Their leader was a woman who wore a veil and would never reveal her true appearance. She was none other than Ming Fei Wu, who was extremely popular in the imperial court. There was also a man, it was actually Jing Fanqing. The other one was Gu Tanjian. Apart from them, there were 2 other handsome people. They were obviously outstanding talents of the immortal Tao. They were the Scarlet Firmament Mystic Gates, Xiao Wujin, and the 9 Swords Mystic Gates, Jian Shenkong. The one speaking was Jing Fanqing, his killing intent overflowing. Liu Baiwei, Gu Chunsha, and Gu Huasha must die. I'm slowly making arrangements. Don't be anxious. Wu Dangkong said, they're in the limelight right now, and the Heavenly Talisman Emperor will come out of seclusion at any time. If I don't have full confidence, I'm afraid they'll turn on me. That'll be troublesome. These people are loyal to the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. We have to kill them to destroy his fortune. Gu Shengjian laughed coldly. However, we really can't rush this matter. The most important thing right now is to take things one step at a time. We can't touch those three, but we can still deal with their subordinates. For example, Long Yun, Frosty Jade, Long Zai-Fei, and the 5 people who obtained the legacy of the gods of 5 seasons. As long as we capture them all in one fell swoop, the Celestial Calmness Department will lose its talents and will be hampered in all aspects. I think we should kill Jin Suebua. Xiao Wujin's eyes were filled with killing intent. When Luo Xiao and the others joined the Calmness Immortal Department, I wanted to kill the chicken to warn the monkey. But Jin Suebua joined forces with many second and third-rate Immortal Dao sects, so I couldn't do anything. Now, hundreds of sects have joined the Calmness Immortal Department, and Jin Suebua's power has risen. He seems to be really loyal to the Calmness Immortal Department. I can't understand why. The everlasting celestial sect was annihilated by the imperial court. Jin Suebua is indeed a strange person. I went to discuss with him several times, wanted to pull him into our group, but he completely ignored me. Gu Tanjian frowned. If we get rid of him, the Calmness Immortal Department won't have enough people to deal with the Immortal Dao. How about we leave it to Xiao Wujin, Jian Changkong, and Jing Fanqing? We have to do it cleanly. Chapter 259. This matter needs to be done swiftly. Wu Donkong's tone changed, becoming incomparably cold. I want to control the court, so I must bite down on the bone of the Calming Immortal Department. I must not allow the Calming Immortal Department to rope in the people of the Immortal Dao. There's no need to worry about controlling the court. Gu Tanjian looked deeply at Wu Donkong, as if he wanted to see through the veil and see Wu Donkong's face. I have already roped in a few imperial uncles with real power. Behind them are sage clans that wield great power in the court. They will support you in suppressing the Calming Immortal Department. The influence of your national fortune party is getting bigger and bigger. You have control over public opinion and the hearts of all the scholars in the world. This is what you call having clouds and rain with a flip of your hand. Wu Donkong was a formidable character, so how could she completely believe in Gu Shangjian? However, my Scenic Martial Merchant Association needs your support. Originally, the Scenic Martial Merchant Association's biggest source of income was working with Bayou Nation to transport jade stones to the various great clans and even Immortal Dao sections. Now, this business is completely controlled by the Calming Immortal Department. It's very simple. Killing Jin Suebua is equivalent to cutting off the Calming Immortal Department's left arm. Killing Long Yun, Yuhan Lu, and the others is equivalent to cutting off the Calming Immortal Department's right arm. Finally, killing those 3. Jing Fanqing's resentment was so heavy that even the waters of the 4 seas could not wash it away. Tomorrow, I will send a letter to the court in the name of the study. Wu Donkong waved his hand. Say that the National Treasury is empty and immediately order the Calming Immortal Department to transfer all the stored resources into the National Treasury. The Calming Immortal Department will definitely not agree. Gu Tanjian's eyes flashed. Of course they won't agree. Wu Donkong laughed coldly. At this time, it is time for you to make use of the public's opinion. The National Fortune Journal will be wantonly attacking the Calming Immortal Department, saying that they're filling their own pockets, disregarding the laws of the country, disregarding human life, oppressing men, and seducing women. All kinds of dirty water will be poured on the Calming Immortal Department, portraying it as a criminal organization that is condemned by thousands of people. Let the people of the world think that this is the evil path. Now that we have a righteous name, it will be much easier to kill them. That's a good idea. Gu Tanjian laughed heartily. If we work together, it won't be a problem to take down a small Calming Immortal Agency. After we take down the Calming Immortal Agency, we'll take down the Heavenly Craftsman Institute, and then the world will be ours. Those old guys from the Heavenly Craftsman Institute aren't that easy to deal with. Wu Donkong nodded. But with the forces behind us, as long as the Heavenly Talisman Emperor remains in seclusion, it won't be difficult for us to take over the Heavenly Designer Institute. Most of the people in the Heavenly Craftsman Institute are from the Devil Tao. Jing Fanxing's murderous aura intensified. If the heavenly talisman really can appear, the Black Heaven Earth sect will join forces with the Mystic Gate to subdue the devil. At that time, the world will be divided by us. It's not time yet. Wu Dongkong's thoughts were more reliable. I still don't know what Tianfu is up to. I haven't seen him since I entered the palace. Every time the imperial edict is given to me by the eunuchs. You haven't seen this dog emperor yet. Jing Fanxing was overjoyed. I'm afraid this dog emperor really can't hold on any longer. He's going against the grain and is not far from death. Don't let your guard down, Wu Dangkong said, and Fanxing, it's best if we don't meet so easily in the future. This is a troubled time. Before we defeat the Calmness Immortal Bureau and seize power, we can't let anyone get hold of us before we confirm that the Heavenly Talisman Emperor won't appear. We can only endure for now. Jing Fanxing nodded. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor is still alive, he'll be eager to get hold of us and destroy the Wu clan and the Black Heaven Earth sect. I know what to do. Go back first and contact the Immortal Dao experts with Xiao Wujin and Jian Shankong to kill Jin Suibua and the others. You must do it quietly and frame the barbarian race or the Great Might Dynasty. Wu Dangkong calculated. For this matter, after you recruit some reliable experts and gather a force, we will be able to resist the coming Immortal Department. At that time, I will help you find a position in the Imperial Court and establish an organization similar to the coming Immortal Department. In any case, I'm going to turn this world into a mess. I'm going to make this dog Emperor Gu Taxian die without descendants. At this time, Jing Fanxing made a solemn vow. Gu Tanjin's expression was extremely ugly. He was also surnamed Gu. Jing Fanxing sensed it and immediately felt that he had misspoken. However, he was a proud person, so he didn't apologize and suddenly flew away. Xiao Wujin and Jian Chenkong also followed behind Jing Fanxing. Fanxing has been very angry ever since I entered the palace. He often speaks without thinking. Please don't take offense, Wu Dangkong said. It's fine. I'm a person who prioritizes the big picture. Gu Tanjian naturally wouldn't lose his temper. Right now, he was about to contact the Wu clan and the Black Heaven Earth sect. The Wu clan was a giant, and the Black Heaven Earth sect was also a giant among giants. If he could use Wu Dangkong and Jing Fanxing as a bridge, he could obtain the help of the Black Heaven Earth sect and the Wu clan. In that case, we'll take our leave here and act according to the plan. As for Li Wanlong, if you're able to get in touch with him, he can be our ally. We can divide up the strongest empire in the history of the world. Wu Dangkong was extremely ambitious. You have to be careful. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor didn't let you enter the study to divide his empire. Gu Tanjian played with his ring, the Great Spirit God Ring. Maybe he's using you. I also know that he's definitely using me. But right now, I only have one path, and that is to take advantage of him as much as I can. Moreover, he let me preside over the study, which is the same as regent. Wu Dongkong's expression didn't change. Actually, I've thought about this problem many times. Something must have happened to him. That's why he risked the world's condemnation to promote me. I still have some luck on me. That's a possibility. Gu Tanjian said, but you still can't let your guard down. I only want to borrow power to build a force and obtain greater strength. Wu Dangkong said, I don't care about anything else. All right, then we'll act according to the plan. Gu Tanjian closed his eyes. Wu Dongkong's body twisted and immediately disappeared without a trace. Gu Xingjian opened his eyes, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. This woman's realm is simply terrifying. She's even above Jing Fanxing. No wonder she's in existence with great luck. If I can subdue her, it'll be a wonderful thing. She'll fall in my hands sooner or later. I can't let her escape. The world is about to change. As for that Jing Fanxing, I'll refine him when I have no use for him. I've been forging giant miracle soldiers recently, and he's a good material. I can make 9 of them. One must know that back in the day, the Great Spirit God commanded the giant miracle soldiers from many emperors. If I can create tens of thousands of giant spirit soldiers and set up a giant spirit executioner formation, Even those who are 10 realms higher than me will have to die with regret. Above the desolate forest, Jing Fanqing and the other two stopped. We need to discuss which experts to invite for the assassination. Brother Fanqing, your cultivation is the highest. We'll listen to you. It's not that easy to kill Jin Suebois, Jing Fanqing said. Jing Fanqing said, right now, there are many experts following him. For example, people like Luo Xiao are stronger than all of you. Unless we invite someone from the sect who is at least at the 20 transformations to set up a formation, we won't be able to exterminate these people in one go. If that's the case, let's kill those juniors first and take back Baoyu country. Xiao Wujin sneered. Baoyu country has always been the exclusive land of Tai fantasy sect. I don't know why, but that junior Taimengdi actually gave it up and made peace with celestial tranquility. That junior must be out of his mind. Jin Chengkong waved his sleeves. They gave up Baoyu country, which increased the luck of Yanko and strengthened the emperor's qi. It's a great loss to our immortal Dao. I think we should hold a meeting to discuss how Tai fantasy sect will explain to the 3 celestial masters. Tai fantasy sect is actually dissatisfied with the 3 celestial masters. There should have been 4 celestial masters, but Celestial Master Tai fell in ancient times because of the 3 celestial masters. Jing Fanqing sneered. But it doesn't matter. No matter how much they jump, they won't be able to do anything. That's true, Xiao Wujin said. Let's split up. We'll recruit our own experts and meet up in Baoyu country. Baoyu country is far away, and the Great Wei dynasty is still active in the dark. If there's a chance, we can join forces with the experts of that dynasty to deal with Yanko. Jing Fanqing's murderous aura soared into the sky. All the animals in the forest below died, and even the trees began to wither. When a Golden Dan Great Dao expert got angry, he could instantly turn everything within dozens of li into dead silence. Don't leave, all of you. You're plotting a rebellion, and you even killed the people of celestial tranquility. How dare you? Just then a voice rang out. A young man appeared. He was wearing an ordinary scholar's robe. He stood in the air with his hands behind his back, staring at Jing Fanqing, Xiao Wujin, and Jin Chengkong. Who's there? Jing Fanqing didn't even look at him. He waved his sword and slashed out. The sword was hundreds of meters long, and it was strong enough to split a mountain in half. This was the secret sword technique of the Black Heaven Earth sect. But before the sword light could reach the scholar, it was swallowed up by an invisible force. Who are you? How can there be an expert like you in celestial tranquility? Jing Fanqing was shocked. The sword technique he had just used seemed ordinary, but it contained a powerful killing move. Last time, it had trapped F.A. Wuxian in the Wu Prefecture. But now, it had been broken by his opponent. Could it be that his opponent was stronger than F.A. Wuxian? This scholar was Gu Qinsha. He, Lu Baiwei, the Black Tortoise, and the 4th had refined many ancient treasures into the Dragon's Gate. Then, with Wen Hong's guidance, they had returned the Buzhou Palace to the Dragon's Gate. The power of the Dragon's Gate was incredible. He had learned from many reports that Wu Dankong, Gu Tanjian, and the others had joined forces to deal with the Celestial Tranquility Department. He had decided to launch a counterattack. Wu Dankong and Gu Tanjian were officials of the imperial court, so he couldn't deal with them openly. But these immortal cultivators had long been under surveillance. Chapter 260. You will soon know who I am. Gu Qinsha did not reveal his true appearance. Instead, he activated the Sun-Moon transformation to change his appearance and temperament. Recently, his Dharma spells had improved very quickly. Many people did not know about it. Ever since he obtained the Book of Sky Demon and improved the clumsy fist technique into the common people heaven-mending technique, his temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change and was completely different from before. Later, he cultivated with Lu Baiwei again and completely comprehended the Book of Sky Demon, forming the Dragon Gate and perfecting the common people heaven-mending technique. Then, he visited Wen Hong and obtained the 10,000 star flying immortal art, Buzhou Palace, and various other teachings. At this moment, Gu Chunsha already had the aura of an old antique. No matter who you are, kill. Jian Shunkong pointed with his finger, and thousands of sword lights gathered into a river, blasting in front of Gu Chunsha. But it was to no avail. Any sword lights were completely engulfed before they could even get close to his body. Star soldiers gather spirit. 10,000 star, flying immortal, descend to the mortal world, swiftly traverse the heavens. Gu Chunsha did not waste any more words. He was prepared to end the battle quickly and capture these three outstanding disciples of the Mystic Gate. If it was in the past, he would at most be tied with Jing Fanqing. But now that the Dragon Gate had been reformed, even 3 or 4 Jing Fanqings were no match for him. One had to know that in the depths of the Dragon Gate, there were still 9 saintly dragon celestial soldiers condensing day and night. The moment he activated his cultivation technique, the sky within a radius of dozens of miles shone with starlight. Countless starlight shot down, and under the control of his divine will, they transformed into heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. These heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals were all dazzling with starlight armor and long spears in their hands. They rotated back and forth, secretly forming a large formation. There were more than 3,000 of these heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. The formation they formed was also filled with a murderous aura, causing the 3 of them to be unable to move. This is the star immortal soldiers of the 10,000 star flying immortal art. Who are you? Could they be Wenhong's men? No. In order to reach this level, the stellar soldiers need to be at least Golden Dan of the Great Tao. The most outstanding disciple under Wenhong is only Chen Tianwang. Jing Fanqing's expression changed drastically. Gu Chunsha had comprehended the myriad stars flying immortal art. He had borrowed the power of the Buzhou Palace to create a stellar immortal weapon. However, the starry celestial weapon he had created couldn't last long. It wasn't complete. It could be said that it was a temporary puppet, not a real celestial weapon with its own life. The 10,000 stars flying immortal art was indeed the pinnacle of using the power of the stars. It wasn't without reason that Wenhong had relied on this divine ability to contend with the old-timers and even gods. Thousands of star immortal soldiers formed a formation. In just an instant, the incomparably mighty star power completely enveloped the 3 of them. The 3 of them were within the grand formation formed from the stellar immortal weapons, and they utilized all their techniques with the intention of blasting open the formation and escaping with their lives. At this moment, the 3 of them no longer had any hopes of defeating Gu Chunsha. Instead, they hoped to escape. The techniques that Gu Chunsha had displayed were not something that they could stand up to. Try to run? Gu Chunsha saw Jing Fanqing suddenly activate a magic treasure in the middle of the matrix. The magic treasure was vermilion in color, and it was a small box. When a box was opened, there was a thunderbolt. It seemed like it was going to tear the matrix apart and escape with the 3 of them. But Gu Chunsha was prepared. In that instant, he let out a long howl. The Buzhou Palace in the depths of the Dragon's Gate spun violently. Vast amounts of star power descended, forming the Azure Dragon, the White Tiger, the Vermilion Bird, and the Black Tortoise. Gu Chunsha had used the Buzhou Palace to absorb the power of the stars, and he had actually used all 28 constellation Fey God transformations. Rumble. The 28 constellation Fey gods formed the 4 constellation divine beasts, and their immense power instantly shattered all of the 3's counterattacks. Withdraw. Gu Chunsha saw that Jing Fanqing and the other 2 were coughing up blood. Their stellar energy was in chaos, and they were delirious. He knew that his strength had risen to a terrifying level. It was not unusual for him to be able to defeat someone, but to capture them alive and not give them a chance to fight back was much more difficult. Logically speaking, even if it was 1 or 2 transformations higher, the weaker ones would still have the means to destroy indiscriminately. The light of the stars in a radius of several dozen li suddenly condensed into a sphere that froze the 3 of them within. Then it began to change and was sucked into the depths of the Dragon's Gate. Just like that, the three of them were captured alive. After capturing the three of them, Gu Chansha looked around, then pressed down on the ground, leaving behind many traces of the power of the stars. Only then did he fly away. He wanted people to know that these were traces of the myriad star flying immortal art, so that they would suspect Wen Hong. In the blink of an eye, he had captured the three of them and flown into the calming immortal department. At his current speed, even some of the old antiques might not be able to match up to him. Thinking back to the day when the Heavenly Talisman Emperor held a court meeting, Jian Changkong, Xiao Wujin, and the others were all peerless experts in Gu Chencha's eyes, and there was no way they could contend against him. But now, in just a few short years, these people could be annihilated in the blink of an eye. His improvement was so great that even Gu Chensha, who was indifferent to worldly affairs, felt a little proud. In the calming immortal department, Liu Baiwei and the fourth were still handling documents, approving official documents, and meeting with officials and immortal cultivators. They were extremely busy every day. At this time, the fourth was meeting with a few Confucians. Mr. Feng, I heard that your Spiritual Light Poetry Society has been doing very well recently. The Confucian opposite the fourth asked in a friendly manner. However, it seems that a portion of the Spiritual Light Poetry Society is working with the National Fortune Party, stirring up chaos and inverting right and wrong. What do you think, mister? The middle-aged Confucian hurriedly said, the leader of the National Fortune Party is the Crown Prince's son. The Crown Prince has been extorting taxes and has been reprimanded by His Majesty. Now, the Crown Prince has formed a clique for personal gain and is talking nonsense about politics. It's clear that he has disloyal intentions. After I return, I will definitely reorganize the Poetry Society and draw a clear line between them and the National Fortune Party. At the same time, I will strictly forbid the Feng clan's disciples from accepting any recruitment, the middle-aged Confucian hurriedly said. That's good. The fourth chatted with the other Confucians for a while before sending them off. So fourth brother is trying to rope in the scholars of the various great clans. That middle-aged man, just now, is from the Feng clan. I remember that back in the Martial Prefecture, I was on good terms with the Feng clan's Feng Yuzhou. In order to obtain the dragon-raising pill, Feng Yuzhou wants to rely on Gu Tanjian. Gu Chansha recalled some of the things that happened back in the Martial Prefecture. Fourth brother, you've been roping in some of the prestigious scholars from the various clans. How are the results? Gu Chansha asked. The results are all right, but that Gu Tanjian's National Fortune Party has even more Confucian scholars. That's because Gu Tanjian is willing to pay any price to rope us in with the dragon-raising pill. We don't have the capital to do that. It seems like he really has the support of the most cunning ancient god, the Great Spirit God. The fourth side. The Great Spirit God isn't the strongest among the ancient gods, but he is definitely the most cunning. Every time, he would attach himself to the ancient Son of Heaven and obtain many benefits. He would command the giant spirit soldiers for the ancient Son of Heaven. In the end, after Son of Heaven Zhou fell, he disappeared with the giant spirit soldiers. Gu Qinsha already knew how cunning this god was. Gu Tanjian has the support of this god. We must be careful. 19th brother, did you capture Jing Fanxing? The fourth asked. That's right. Right now, Jing Fanxing, Xiao Wujin, and Jian Chengkong are being suppressed in the dragon sect. Gu Chencha's eyes were filled with killing intent. These three are quite daring. They actually want to contact experts to assassinate the people of the Commerce Department. I'll make the first move to gain the upper hand. All right, Liu Baiwei walked out of the Commerce Department. She was brimming with energy. Her cultivation seemed to have improved again. They were actually able to capture Jing Fanxing and prevent him from sending a distress signal. It seems like the cooperation between the Dragon Sect and Buzhou Palace can really turn the tides. What do we do after we capture Jing Fanxing? Gu Qinsha asked. I think we can make a big deal out of his relationship with Wu Dankong. We can indeed make a big deal out of it. Liu Baiwei nodded. I've recently received intelligence that Wu Dankong will soon join hands with Gu Danjian to attack us through public opinion. They must make sure to make the calming, immortal department stink to the point of being condemned by everyone. Then we will act in the imperial court. Then we can give them a taste of their own medicine. Yes, make a big deal out of Jing Fanqing. With a cold laugh, Lao Si said, Wudong air disaster has caused chaos in the imperial court. We must make this woman's head and face covered in dirt. Everybody in the world knows that Jing Fanqing is this woman's fiancé. We must force Jing Fanqing to come out. We will make him say that Wu Dangkong has an affair with him. Not only did he cause chaos in the imperial court, but he also colluded with the immortal Dao to harm the imperial court. When that happens, let's see if Wu Dangkong can still stay in the palace. This plan is truly vicious. Gu Qinsha nodded repeatedly. But a man must be ruthless. Since Wu Dangkong wants to deal with us and ruin the empire, then we need not be polite to her. But His Majesty made her a minister in the imperial study. If we take her down, will it ruin His Majesty's plans? Liu Baiwei thought deeper. I don't think so. The fourth prince waved his hand and said, Our actions are definitely within Father's calculations. It is impossible for Father to not know that after Wu Dangkong took control of the imperial court, this woman would do the opposite and would not work for the imperial court wholeheartedly. However, he still let this woman become the regent of the empire. This means that he must have predicted that we would make a move against this woman. That makes sense. In short, whoever corrupts the world must be eradicated. Gu Qinsha was full of confidence. I used the myriad stars flying immortal art just now to gather the power of the stars and condense the astral immortal weapons. But these immortal weapons are only temporary forms. They are not real puppets. But I have already understood some of the secrets of the Taoist techniques. I have understood them as well. Liu Baiwei said, and I have just understood them. It is the method of creating puppets from the great massacre god technique that His Majesty taught me. What puppet? Gu Qinsha asked. Endless console. Liu Baiwei thought carefully, still calculating. This is the ultimate puppet that His Majesty evolved from all the puppets in the history of His Majesty's synthesis. Celestial soldiers, yellow turban warriors, and so on. This name is a little strange. The fourth said, Father's naming definitely makes sense. Could it be that after this puppet is created, it can also become an official? Chapter 261. Replacing the world's officials with puppets. Gu Qinsha came back to his senses. That's right. As long as the officials are human, they will have desires and will definitely form cliques for personal gain. If we replace them with intelligent puppets, they will be just and diligently work for the court. The world will definitely be governed and will bring true fairness. In the end, the emperor did not carry out this plan because the court is not big and people can manage it. Moreover, if the officials do not have utilitarian hearts, they will instead lose the will to improve. Liu Baiwei sighed. However, in order to expand our power, we can only create these puppets. This puppet should be quite extraordinary. Can we create it with our abilities? Gu Qinsha asked. We don't have the ability, but if we capture Jing Fanqing, Sword Emptiness, and Emptiness, we can use these three souls as the base material to create an endless console, which will take the shape of an endless console. Actually, in this world, whether it is a god or the heavenly Tao, they all need souls. Souls are the best raw material, Liu Baiwei sighed. So that's how it is. Gu Qinsha suddenly understood. He used the heaven sacrifice talisman to kill and offer sacrifices, which was to use souls to buy various items from the heavenly Tao. This was a transaction in itself. Establishing faith for the gods and making many believers worship them was also a process of collecting pure souls. The quality of a devout soul was like pure gold that was extracted from ore. Gu Qinsha now had a deeper understanding of the essence of the soul, and he was no longer the ignorant youth of the past. It's not appropriate to make Jing Fanqing, Jin Chengkong, and Xiao Wujin into the embryonic form of the endless console. The fourth frowned. These three are the most outstanding disciples of the heaven-earth profound sect. Nine Swords Profound Sect, and Crimson Firmament Profound Sect. If we kill them, the three great profound sects will fight us to the death. With our current strength, we are definitely not a match for the three great profound sects. As such, we need to slow down this matter. If we can wait for 10 years, we will be fully fledged, and our cultivation will not be comparable to today's. Lu Baiyue's tone was somewhat urgent. Gu Qinshan knew that what he lacked now was time to settle down. He had learned countless peerless cultivation methods, and had peerless magic treasures to aid his cultivation. If he could go into seclusion with Lu Baiyue for 3 to 5 years and cultivate diligently, he would definitely be able to reach a shocking realm when he came out. Unfortunately, the situation of the world was changing rapidly, and it was like a raging fire. He wouldn't be given 3 to 5 years of closed-door cultivation, and he could only occasionally take time out to cultivate. I can't create an endless console, but I've figured out a way to create a heavenly soldier puppet. Gu Qinsha said, I've combined the 28 constellations fiend god transformation, the myriad stars flying immortal art, various talisman arts, the Tao of Buzhou, and the great massacre god art. It seems like I could try to create something similar to the Herculean heavenly works demon god, but I'll need your help, Baiyue. Oh, we can give it a try? Lu Baiyue's eyes flashed. I've comprehended my own Tao and transformed the clumsy fist into the life heaven-mending art. The principle of my comprehension is that the heavenly Tao has flaws and the life heaven-mending art has flaws. Thus, I've comprehended various secret arts and came up with a new idea. Gu Qinsha moved his finger, and a starlight gathered. It twisted and flickered and turned into many runes and finally formed a human figure. This person gradually grew bigger and was completely naked. There were tattoos on his body, an azure dragon on his left, a white tiger on his right, a vermilion bird on his back, and a black tortoise on his chest. He stood on 7 stars and floated in the air, exuding great power. But as soon as he took form, the person standing on the 7 stars dissipated. This is the heaven-mending divine general that I want to create. Gu Qinsha said, but with my current mana, I still can't form it. Yes, it's still lacking some experience. Lu Baiyue looked carefully. Creating a puppet is different from an avatar. An avatar is just an amalgamation of energy, but a heavenly soldier puppet is a separate entity and is equivalent to a spiritual treasure. I know about this. Gu Qinsha thought deeply. The 28 constellations fiend transformation is to cultivate the avatars of the 28 constellations lords and store Xiantian Qi. This is also the limit. The avatar is related to the person's psyche. The stronger the psyche, the more Xiantian Qi the avatar can store. But if one's psyche is not enough, forcefully cultivating it will not be able to control the huge amount of energy, and the Xiantian Qi will go out of control, and the heavenly soldier puppet will explode into dust. Things like that have nothing to do with the person. Therefore, when a cultivator's realm is unable to increase, and the avatar is also cultivated to the peak, they will start to cultivate heavenly soldier puppet. Every sect has their own ways to cultivate puppets. For example, Bao Ming has made many puppets to help her work, such as planting spiritual herbs, mining ores, cleaning caves, repairing formations, and raising spirit beasts. They are more useful than humans, and she is not afraid of revealing her secrets. But these puppets are weaker and are just mechanical puppets. Some might not even be able to defeat martial path grandmasters. The puppets that Gu Qinsha wanted to craft exceeded 1,000-year bone demon. They needed to be at least above Tao Realm Transformation 9, and that would be tough. Tao Realm Transformation Glass Jade Body Strength would be considered a core disciple in the Celestial Path Mysterious Sect. In terms of a country, the Glass Jade Body would be the equivalent of a province's inspector. Tao Realm Golden Core would be the governor of a state, holding dozens of provinces. They would be the governor of a region. This kind of puppet was not something that could be easily made. The Heavenly Craftsman Ghost God of Heavenly Craftsman Institute was even better. Each one was equivalent to Tao Realm Transformation 15, the Heaven Eye Hanging Sky Realm. Those ghost gods didn't have a physical body and flew in the sky. They weren't afraid of the wind and lightning. After the soul left the body, they formed the Heaven Eye Hanging Sky Realm. This was the reason why the Heavenly Craftsman Institute was so strong. As for ghost gods like the Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier, Gu Qinsha couldn't craft them. Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwei worked together to use the Buzhou Palace Dragon Gate to comprehend once more. They tried to craft the heaven-repairing god general puppet. After a full 7 days and 7 nights, the two of them connected with their Xiantian energy. Who knew how much energy they gathered? They locked onto one another, circulated it, and sent in many ingredients. The fourth was in charge of the calming celestial department and didn't have time to cultivate. Hung long. There was a loud explosion. Finally, a placenta shot out from the depths of Gu Qinsha's Dragon Gate. This placenta looked like flesh and blood, like jade, like glass. Kacha! The placenta split open and Gu Qinsha's heaven-repairing god general body appeared. The moment the heaven-repairing god general came out, he ate the placenta right away. His body floated in the air, and he looked no different from a Tao Realm Transformation 9 glass jade body cultivator. What a fellow! The heaven-repairing god general has finally been refined. Lu Baiyue's face was slightly pale, as if she had used up too much mental energy. Even with the help of the Buzhou Palace and Dragon Gate, it definitely wasn't an easy task to refine such a high-grade puppet. Our cultivation is still too shallow. Gu Qinsha was pretty much exhausted. He looked at the heaven-repairing god general and said, "As expected, it is a good puppet. Look at this god general standing on the 7 stars, the azure dragon on the left, and the white tiger on the right. The vermilion bird is on the back, and the Xuan Wu is on the chest. It can absorb the power of the stars to slowly nurture its spirituality and then cultivate on its own. Right now, this puppet might not be a match for the Celestial Path disciples with a glass jade body, but if 3 to 5 of them work together to form a formation, they will be able to kill them." The heaven-repairing god general was a puppet and didn't have the intelligence of a human. At the same realm, it definitely wouldn't be a match for humans. But this was also a symbolic step. With Lu Baiwei and Gu Qinsha working together, with the help of Buzhou Palace and the Dragon Gate, as well as some other materials, they were able to create a puppet equivalent to a 9 transformations glazed jade body puppet in 7 days and 7 nights. If word of this got out, it would probably shock the mystical immortal path. This was also because of Lu Baiwei and Gu Qinsha working together, using the god sealing technique and god slaying technique, along with the ancient son of Heaven Treasure and Dragon Gate. Although that was the case, Lu Baiwei and Gu Qinsha were really tired. They didn't have the energy to continuously create such puppets. To create this puppet, we still need the essence of the 5 metals and good quality jade. Especially jade, after being tempered by the power of the stars and nourished by our innate stellar energy, it will gain spirituality and turn into something similar to the heaven-repairing stone. It's the perfect carrier for the heaven-repairing god general. Lu Baiwei rested for an hour before he regained his energy. "You are indeed extraordinary. This heaven-repairing divine general combines all kinds of strengths. Although it is not perfect, as our cultivation level increases, this heaven-repairing divine general will definitely shine. The best material for the heaven-repairing god general is good quality jade. It seems like we have to hold on to the ores of Baoyu country." Gu Qinsha said, "If we both reach the golden core of the Great Path, we can mass-produce these puppets. If I can have 1,000 heaven-repairing god generals in the depths of Dragon Gate, I'll have the power to challenge some of the old antiques. Although I spent a lot of energy in the process of creating the heaven-repairing god general with you, my Tao heart has improved greatly." Lu Baiwei said, "I'm afraid there's something wrong with your heaven sacrificial talisman. When the heavenly Tao changes, be careful that the talisman doesn't fly away." "I've already calculated this." Gu Qinsha's expression turned serious. "So I've already started to convert the sun and moon dragon's handle on my body into my self-created heaven-repairing stellar energy. This Tao is created by me, and even the heavenly Tao can't take it away. When the time comes, if the talisman flies away, it doesn't matter to my cultivation. Actually, I've been using this talisman less and less, so I don't sacrifice it. It's good to prepare for a rainy day. Lu Baiwei said, if one doesn't plan for the future, there will be immediate worries. His Majesty has also left many tricks up his sleeves. He definitely won't let us suffer. That's right. Gu Qinsha took out a black-yellow pill and ate it. After a while, he immediately recovered all his energy and cultivation. This is the black-yellow pill I took from Guhua. It's no wonder a saint like the black-yellow dragon emperor made it. Chapter 262. Although Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwei were able to craft the heaven-repairing God General puppets, each one was equivalent to a Tao Realm 9 transformation glass jade body expert. They couldn't mass-produce them. That was because to craft the heaven-repairing God General, apart from the essence of the 5 metals, they also needed good jade stones. Materials were a problem. Apart from that, refining the essence of the 5 metals and jade stones into spirituality required a large amount of essence energy. Under the nourishment of spiritual qi over a long period of time, plants and trees would develop spirituality over time, and the heavenly dew's ability was even stronger. Gu Qinsha's sun and moon dragon blood surpassed the heavenly dew, and the sun and moon dragon handle surpassed the sun and moon blood. Now he was combining the sun and moon dragon handle with Lu Baiwei's god slaughtering qi, transforming into an inconceivably profound aura. Just like that, he could merge the essence of the 5 metals and jade stones to form something similar to the legendary heaven-repairing stone. He would then use this material to forge meridians, inject star power, carve formations, and nurture spirituality. Finally, it would wiggle at a frequency that combined the laws of heaven and earth to form the original form. Even with Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwei's ability, they were extremely tired and didn't want to create a second one. This was with the cooperation of Buzhou Palace and Dragon Sect. After 7 days and 7 nights of hard work, they were able to create one. If not for Buzhou Palace and Dragon Sect, the two of them probably wouldn't have been able to create one in 7 years. Buzhou Palace itself was a huge heaven-grade weapon factory. There were many places in this palace that had the ability to decompose and combine energy. The energy was used to refine materials, and the materials were repeatedly forged, hammered, and finally, the best and strongest heaven-grade weapons were made. As for the Dragon Gate, it absorbed some innate earth energy and converted it into the dragon-nurturing qi that could raise one's aptitude. When the dragon-nurturing qi seeped into the materials, the spirituality of the materials would undergo an earth-shattering transformation. This also meant that the heaven-repairing God General that Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwei worked hard to create was smarter than others. It was much smarter than the 1,000-year bone monster and could do many complicated things. The two of them didn't want to continue creating this heaven-repairing God General puppet. They could only wait until their cultivation was high enough. We still haven't been able to fully comprehend this Sky Demon book. Lu Baiwei sighed and said, if we can combine this book with the Buzhou Palace, add the Dragon Gate, and combine the 3 treasures into one, then we can create a large number of heaven-mending divine generals and even endless magistrates. There are many powerful phase souls sealed in the Sky Demon book. There are also multiple spaces that store many materials. Gu Qinsha nodded. But as our cultivation improves, I think it's not impossible to open this book. Right now, we shouldn't rashly sacrifice souls, Lu Baiwei said. Souls are also very useful for us to create puppets. Souls are useful to the heavenly Tao, so they're even more useful to us. I suspect that the reason why there are so many strong phase souls sealed in the Sky Demon book is to create some kind of monster race heaven soldier. Gu Qinsha's horizons were broadened, and he saw many things clearly. This heaven-repairing God General is better than nothing. Our calming celestial department has one more Tao Realm Transformation 9 expert. Lu Baiwa looked at the heaven-repairing God General puppet and felt really happy. The heaven-repairing God General puppet was really calm, like it wasn't tempted by anything in the world. It didn't have its own thoughts, but the energy on its body surged and circulated like a huge river. After the two of them consumed the Xianhuang pill, they quickly recovered their energy and even improved. Gu Chunsha kept the heaven-repairing God General into the Dragon Gate. Instantly, the puppet started to breathe and refine itself, becoming purer and purer. It also pushed the Dragon Gate to revolve. Unfortunately, there was only one heaven-repairing God General, and it was unable to form a formation. Suddenly, Gu Chincha's heart stirred. Lend me another hand. Although the nine-headed Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier is strong, it isn't compatible with my cultivation technique. If we take it apart and reforge it, using the materials from the nine-headed Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier, we can probably create hundreds of heaven-repairing God Generals. Heaven-repairing God Generals are compatible with my common people heaven-repairing technique. Only then will we be able to stack our strength and become even stronger. This plan can work. Lu Baiwen understood the theory right away, but we need a lot of materials. Why don't we strip Jing Fanxing, Jin Changkong, and Xiao Wujin of their treasures, and let Buzhou Palace break them down? This plan reminds me. With a thought from Gu Qinsha, the three of them who were sealed in the depths of the Dragon Gate spun, and the treasures on their bodies flew out one by one. As expected of the elite disciples of the 72 mysterious gates, they actually have so many treasures on them, especially Jing Fanxing. He even has a storage ring. Gu Chunsha counted them one by one. Jing Fanxing and Wu Dangkong have colluded for many years, and he is one of the most elite disciples of the Black Heaven Earth sect. He definitely has many good things on him. Besides that, ever since Wu Dangkong entered the Master's study, he has been secretly embezzling from the National Treasury. Who knows how much of the things that we gave the National Treasury have been pocketed by Wu Dangkong. It's not bad to take back some of the interest. Lu Baiwe watched as Gu Chansha took out the treasures on Jing Fanxing's body one by one and sent them into Buzhou Palace. Buzhou Palace's heavenly cycle apparatus revolved, calculated, broke down, refined, and reforged. Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier, self-destruct. Gu Chunsha and Lu Baiwe worked together and activated it again. A huge force rushed into the depths of the Dragon Gate. Buzhou Palace was also activated and began to revolve faster. The two of them had previous experience and were now familiar with the process. They used Buzhou Palace to break down the Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier and then transform it into heaven-mending divine generals. This process was actually not very difficult. The Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier's level was much higher than the current heaven-mending divine generals, even far higher than the Heavenly Designer Institute's ghostly immortals. Breaking it down and transforming it into a lower-level heaven-mending divine general was much easier than advancing. Rumble. The 9 Saint Dragon Celestial Soldiers turned into a vast amount of materials and pure energy and went through thousands of combinations and transformations in the depths of Buzhou Palace. Finally, heaven-mending divine generals were born in the depths of Buzhou Palace's Dragon Gate. I didn't expect that after breaking down the many treasures on Jing Fanxing's body, there would be a huge amount of materials that could help me. Gu Qinsha circulated it continuously. In the depths of the Dragon Gate, every time a heaven-mending divine general appeared, his heaven-mending stellar energy would become a little stronger. Other than that, his cultivation level seemed to have some sort of breakthrough. These heaven-mending divine generals were formed according to the common people heaven-mending art that he deduced. They were almost like a part of him that had split off. The heaven-mending divine generals breathed in and out vital energy in the depths of the Dragon Gate and worked perfectly with him. When the Saint Dragon Celestial Soldier was activated, it still did not reach the true feeling of spirit, energy, and will as one. My thoughts were indeed correct. Gu Chunsha activated the breathing technique again. Who knew how much immortal qi and spirit qi were absorbed by Buzhou Palace and Dragon Gate, and then they absorbed light from the stars in the sky like a river. Another month passed. Gu Chench's dragon gate stood behind him. It was as tall as 10 people. At a glance, it was densely packed with heaven-mending divine generals. They formed all kinds of formations, and then they changed with each other to form a large formation. When they combined, the innate stellar energy seemed to turn into burning flames. A total of 360 heaven-mending divine generals. Gu Chensha was very satisfied. It's just right to evolve into a large formation with a number of heavenly cycles. Also, with so many heaven-mending divine generals helping me, it will be much easier to refine in the future. The more heaven-mending divine generals, the faster Gu Chensha could refine. In the future, with enough materials, it would not take 7 days and 7 nights to refine heaven-mending divine generals. Your vital energy has become even purer. Lu Baiyue clicked her tongue in admiration. We have finally refined 360 heaven-mending divine generals. Although we lost 9 Saint Dragon celestial soldiers, it was more worth it. At this moment, your strength has increased by at least 30 to 40%. Moreover, the Saint Dragon celestial soldiers are purely used for killing. These heaven-mending divine generals can also do many things. They can build mountains and rivers, set up large formations, help you cultivate and collect materials. These heaven-mending divine generals themselves are not very strong. There are still many areas for improvement. As my cultivation improves, it is only a matter of time before these heaven-mending divine generals surpass the Saint Dragon celestial soldiers. Gu Chensha was very confident. However, even now, as long as the number of Saint Dragon celestial soldiers increases by 10 times, or even dozens of times, we will have a high chance of forcefully opening the book of heavenly demons. The two stood up and once again consumed black-yellow pills to replenish their energy. Only then were they satisfied. During the process of cultivation, Lu Baiyue could break through to the 16 transformations realm at any time. When the two came out of the secret chamber, they saw the fourth still reading through documents and discussing with Long Zai and the others. Seeing the fourth's expression, Gu Chensha knew that something must have happened. As expected, Wu Dankong has made a move. The fourth was holding a document. A few days ago, Wu Dankong sent out a document saying that our calming immortal department has to pay all the taxes to the National Treasury. Then, the appointment and dismissal of the officials in the calming immortal department will all be handled by the upper study. Other than that, he said that the National Treasury is empty and needs to strengthen the centralization of power. Naturally, I flatly refused and ignored it. But now that Gu Tanjian has incited the scholars and spread rumors in the National Fortune Gazette, attacking our calming immortal department's people and saying that the imperial court wants to manage it. Very good. As expected, she has made a move. This woman has the ambition of a wolf. Lu Baiyue and Gu Chensha looked at each other and smiled. The two had already calculated this point. Since that is the case, we will use our own plan. At the same time, in the palace, the veiled Wu Dankong was listening to the words of a servant girl. Eldest miss, everything has been prepared. When will we make a move against the calming immortal department? Wait a little longer. Wait for the public opinion to ferment. Has there been any news from Jing Fanqing's side? Wu Dankong asked. Not yet. I heard that he is contacting experts and cultivating a few extremely powerful spells. As long as we are prepared, we will be able to capture the entire calming immortal department in one fell swoop. The servant girl was clearly not an ordinary person. Chapter 263. But we can't kill these two for the time being. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor wakes up, eldest Miss wouldn't be able to endure his rage. The servant girl said, It's going to be hard for the Heavenly Talisman Emperor to wake up now. But it's a pity that we do not know where he is in seclusion right now. If only our Wu family knew about it, we would definitely make a move to refine that man as well. With that, the Wu family would be able to become the overlords of the endless mainland immediately. These words of Wu Dangkong were filled with a deep hatred towards the heavenly talisman emperor as well. "Eldest Miss must be on guard against Gu Tanjian," said the maid. "This person is sinister and cunning. I'm afraid he might do something detrimental to eldest Mississippi. Gu Tanjian himself is not worth mentioning." When Wu Dangkong spoke of this person, his tone was obviously disdainful. However, the power behind this person is quite powerful. However, I've already sent the Wu clan's experts to investigate. Eldest young lady, actually, there are benefits to entering the master's study. The Wu clan's group of old fogies are paying more attention to us, and they're even assisting eldest young lady in her cultivation, said the servant girl. I'm just one step away from mastering the Wu clan's secret technique, the endless sacred martial secret technique. Once I've mastered it, I'll be able to break through the 18 changes Great Path Golden Core realm and reach the 19 changes. I'll be able to control my size at will. By then, my strength will increase by dozens of times. Wu Dangkong stood up and said, "We can't wait any longer. I have to find a way to inform Star's pet chain supermarket to cut off Long Yuyun's frost jade due immediately. I will cooperate with the imperial court and accept the power of Bayou country. I have obtained a lot of good things from the national treasury. As long as I get a lot of jade stones, I can refine them into ghost warrior puppets. We will do our best to assist eldest Mississippi. If we can control this world, it will be a wonderful thing." The servant girl immediately said, "Go, let's stick to the plan." These days, Gu Tanjian has been spreading rumors. I'm afraid the reputation of the Celestial Pacification Department isn't very good. Wu Dangkong waved his hand. "Not good, eldest miss." Right at this time, another servant girl came in, her expression extremely flustered. "What is it?" Wu Dangkong sensed that something was wrong. Young Master Jing Fanqing was caught on the spot for attempting to assassinate an official of the Celestial Commerce Department. Under the torture of the Calming Immortal Agency, he confessed that young Miss he conspired to throw the imperial court into chaos. At the same time, he confessed to many evidence of the Scenic Martial Merchant Association embezzling the national treasury in the past few months. At the same time, young Master Jing Fanqing confessed to many things that were detrimental to the young Mississippi. At this moment, the Calming Immortal Agency is holding a public meeting. Many important people from the newspapers, as well as many scholars and revered scholars, are watching. At this moment, the Calming Immortal Agency has arranged for the news to spread like wildfire. Even the Immortal Dao sects know about this, the servant girl said while trembling with fear. "What? How could such a thing happen?" Wu Dangkong couldn't believe it. Indeed, something big has happened. At this moment, a talisman was transmitted over and burned in front of Wu Dangkong. Gu Tanjian's voice sounded from within. "This matter can no longer be suppressed. I didn't expect Gu Chunsha and Liu Baiwe to act so quickly. We've miscalculated. The most important thing now is to immediately disassociate ourselves from this matter." After the talisman spoke, it immediately disappeared. Damn it! Wu Dangkong calmed down in the face of a major incident and began to think of a countermeasure. In the lobby of the Calming Immortal Agency, many scholars from the major newspapers, as well as many famous people, were currently listening to Gu Chansha and Gu Huasha's narration. 3 people were sealed inside the lobby: Jing Fanqing, Xiao Wujin, and Jian Chengkong. Their bodies couldn't move, but their mouths could speak, and they were constantly cursing. They had never suffered such humiliation before. They were proud sons of heaven, people of the immortal Tao. When had they ever been imprisoned like prisoners and put on public display? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 3 people who tried to assassinate the Calming Immortal Agency's officials. We've captured them, Gu Chunsha explained to the crowd. We've already told you the details. These are the confessions from the interrogation, as well as the signatures of these 3. You can all take a copy back. As he spoke, the people of the Calming Immortal Agency began to distribute the confessions to the crowd. These confessions naturally contained evidence of how Jing Fanqing had colluded with Wu Dangkong, assassinated the Calming Immortal Agency, and how the scenic Martial Merchant Association had embezzled the national treasury. Now that Jing Fanqing had fallen into the hands of Gu Qinsha and Liu Baiwei, there were many ways to make them sign their names. Not only that, but it was also a fact that these three people had indeed tried to assassinate the officials of the calming immortal agency. No matter what, Gu Qinsha's counterattack this time was extremely incisive. First, he would let the world know that Wu Dangkong had brought calamity to the country and the people. These three people were the best evidence. Jing Fanqing was Wu Dangkong's fiancé. Many people knew this, and he was also the second-in-name manager of the scenic Martial Merchant Association. Now that he had confessed, this kind of powerful evidence would definitely convince the world. At least in terms of public opinion, the calming immortal agency had won. As for whether Wu Dangkong could still firmly preside over the study, that would depend on the following methods. At the very least, under this kind of public opinion, this woman could not make any big moves. She had to lay low for a period of time. The calming immortal agency had been working hard these days, and they had a lot of power. At the very least, it was easy for them to spread the news to the common people, scholars, and the court. Once this public meeting was announced, the news blew up. There was a lot of discussion in the court. Following that, the National Fortune Party and Wu Dangkong both published statements in many newspapers, saying that Jing Fanqing was slandering them and had nothing to do with these three people. At the same time, they accused the calming immortal agency of framing them. But this way, it became a war of words. The National Fortune Party and Wu Dangkong had worked together to force the calming immortal agency's plan, but it had no effect at all. Instead, it had become extremely disadvantageous to the public. There were some aristocratic families among the people who knew about this and were secretly shocked. The calming immortal agency had actually silently captured Jing Fanqing, who was at the Golden Core Dao realm. This was something that only people who were 1 or 2 realms above could do. Could it be that the calming immortal agency had an expert who had surpassed the 18th transformation of the Dao realm? One had to know that although the golden core of the Dao realm was strong, its physical body was still relatively weak. But once it reached the 19th transformation, it would be very difficult to kill it. For example, if you reached the 19th transformation and your body became the size of sesame seed, where couldn't you go? Moreover, the calming immortal agency had people secretly spread the news that the three of them had been trapped by the 10,000-star flying immortal technique, and that it was the Grand Preceptor Wenhong who had done it. This was also a strategy. If the people from the 3 big sects, the Black Heaven Earth sect, the Nine Swords mystical sect, and the Crimson Firmament sect wanted to do anything, they would have to think it over. After all, Wenhong's cultivation was comparable to that of a god. Gu Qinsha and the others worked together. They roped in the officials of the imperial court, ostracized Wu Dangkong, and attacked the people wantonly. In the immortal Dao, they used Wenhong to suppress the few great mysterious sects, making them not dare to act rashly. The moment these methods were used, many saint families became wary. Originally, the calming immortal agency was a piece of juicy meat that many powers wanted to swallow up. When the Heaven Talisman Emperor was around, no one dared to act rashly. But now that he was in secluded meditation, many rumors were bad for the court. This caused many people to be tempted to act. If the Heaven Talisman Emperor wasn't in secluded meditation, Jing Fanqing wouldn't even think about dealing with the calming immortal agency. He would just hide far away. This storm lasted for a month, and the common people in the imperial court were all discussing it. Wu Dangkong and Gu Zhanjian had indeed withdrawn their banners and drums, like turtles hiding in their shells. But Gu Qinsha wasn't able to deal any real damage to them. After all, to fully investigate the two of them, they had to wait for the Heaven Talisman Emperor to come out of secluded meditation. They could only influence public opinion and at the same time attack their prestige. Gu Qinsha and Liu Baiwei quietly observed the changes during this month. At the same time, they added fuel to the fire. Seeing that things were developing in the direction of the calming immortal agency, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief. Of course, while adding fuel to the fire, the two of them didn't slack off. They continued to cultivate and study the changes. Apart from the common people mending heaven technique, there were also the mysteries of the 10,000-star flying celestial technique and the heaven demon book. The 10,000-star flying celestial technique contained the mysteries of the stars. If they could find these things, they would be able to find clues about the people who reincarnated from stars. Calming Immortal Agency had two things to do. One was to contact the celestial path to collect taxes, and the other was to collect the reincarnated people. The reincarnated person of Wutsu Star was taken away by Chang Weiyang. Even Fa Wuxian couldn't do anything about it. Gu Qinsha couldn't even think about taking it back. Now, they could only deduce the reincarnated people of other stars and strike first. During this comprehension process, Liu Baiwei successfully broke through and reached the Tao Realm 16 transformation, reincarnation. This meant that one could casually steal someone else's body. The core of this transformation was that one's soul had reached a level where one could merge with everything in the world. One would be able to have a really high compatibility with everything in the world. At this stage, even if one didn't abandon their body to steal someone else's body, the treasure's strength would be much stronger than before. God power was compatible with any treasure. Any treasure that was activated by the soul would slowly be able to coordinate with one's soul and reach a state where everything in the world was in harmony. But Gu Qinsha didn't break through. He was now at the Tao Realm 11 transformation, Soul Tentacle. He used his soul power to come into contact with everything and sense the truth of the world. He needed to accumulate for a period of time and stabilize his foundations. He was a person who liked to do things slowly. When he cultivated, he was really meticulous and didn't want to be greedy. His cultivation conditions and resources were something that even Celestial Path Sect leader's son couldn't compare to. With such resources, naturally, he wasn't willing to give up any chance to cultivate. Using Liu Baiwei's god slaughtering energy, he converted the sun and moon dragon energy in his body into heaven repairing energy. Like that, it had nothing to do with the sun of heaven sealing technique. Originally, the Son of Heaven sealing technique's sun and moon dragon energy was the top technique in the world. Gu Qinsha's common people heaven repairing technique wasn't worth mentioning at all. The conversion of the energy would cause Gu Qinsha's cultivation to drop by at least 10 times. Chapter 264. 360 heaven mending divine generals were operating in the Dragon Gate, setting up all kinds of formations to refine their essence energy and purify their innate energy. It was like 360 experts of the 9 transformations glass J-body were refining at all times. Because these heaven mending divine generals were refined by Gu Qinsha and Liu Baiwei, their bodies were also filled with heaven mending true qi. They absorbed spiritual energy and through the Dragon Gate circulation, they turned it into heaven-mending earth energy, expanding the scale of the Dragon Gate and making it even more mysterious. The heaven-mending divine generals circulated their energy according to Gu Qinsha's common people heaven-mending technique. The heaven-mending divine generals' wills were the same as Gu Qinsha's, as if they were born from the same body. Only such a puppet could unleash its true power. As for the celestial soldier of the Saint Dragon, it was refined by an ancient expert using the true technique of the Saint Dragon. Only someone who also cultivated the true technique of the Saint Dragon could unleash its full power. Gu Qinsha's common people heaven mending technique wasn't compatible with the celestial soldier of the Saint Dragon. There were many flaws when he circulated it, and he couldn't control it as he wished. But now, as he breathed, these 360 heaven-mending divine generals were like organs in his body, but they had their own independent actions. They could split and combine as he wished, and a mysterious feeling was born. Especially as Gu Qinsha comprehended the mysteries, the 360 heaven-mending divine generals were cultivating at all times. Their heaven-mending spirit energy circulated together, forming a giant furnace in the depths of the Dragon Gate. This furnace wasn't the sun and moon furnace, but the heaven-mending furnace that Gu Chansha had comprehended. He had obtained Wen Hong's guidance and comprehended all sorts of secret techniques. He was also an unparalleled genius, so the common people heaven-mending technique slowly started to become perfect and flawless. At this moment, his common people heaven-mending technique had completely surpassed Gu Hua's 9-disaster calamity transformation. The heaven-mending furnace in the depths of the Dragon Gate was constantly absorbing the power of the stars, combining and refining them, turning them into liquid. This star liquid was the heaven-mending liquid, and it was really mysterious. Although it couldn't compare to the heaven dew and sun and moon dragon blood, as Gu Chincha's cultivation grew, sooner or later, it would completely surpass them. The heaven-replenishing liquid was absorbed by the 360 heaven-mending divine generals, slowly strengthening their bodies. They were now at Tao Realm 9 Transformation Glass J-Body Realm. If they wanted to advance to Tao Realm 10 Transformation 1 Heart Realm, then Gu Chansha had to improve his own cultivation to give them more spirituality. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a cultivator to create a puppet that surpassed their own realm. In fact, it was impossible for a cultivator to create a puppet that was on the same level as their own. For example, at the 11th transformation of the Tao Realm, Soul Tentacles, one could at most create a puppet that was at the 3rd or 4th transformation of the Tao Realm. Then, they would need to collect materials and slowly nourish it with their own earth energy and spiritual energy. Only after 8 to 10 years would they be able to create one. Gu Chansha was able to create the heaven-mending divine generals mainly because of the mysteries of the common people heaven-mending technique, the Dragon Gate's strong swallowing ability, Buzhou Palace's invincible crafting ability, and also Lu Baiwe, who cultivated the great massacre god technique. Only then would he be able to create such a heaven-defying ability. Gu Chansha casually activated it and was filled with delight. If the 360 heaven-mending divine generals were released, in just a few days, they would be able to create an unparalleled giant formation. Moreover, these heaven-mending divine generals were smarter than the 1,000-year bone monsters. They could manage, farm, refine, and all sorts of other jobs. They could even treat illnesses and gather materials. The problem of not having enough people in his land was solved right away. Now, he didn't need to build buildings, build roads, open mountains, and break rivers. Gu Chansha calculated the stars in the sky, and, at the same time, he calculated the fate of the country and observed the aura of all living beings in the world. The fate of the world was really confusing, and it was split into many parts. The dynasty had the largest portion, and the saint worlds had a small portion. Gu Chincha's soul tentacles spread out and charged into the sky. He could see that the entire Daong dynasty's fate was still rising. As long as it was Daong dynasty's land, it would be covered in a patch of gold like it was a god country in the sky. Logically speaking, when the world was in chaos and the people had no way to live, black energy would appear. That would be the grievances and suffering of the people. Now, the people were happy and satisfied, which was why the fate was golden. Only after he formed the soul tentacles and used his own spiritual sense to sense it did Gu Chansha know how strong the Yonko was. A strong sense of responsibility rose up in his heart. Such a beautiful world, such a picturesque landscape. He definitely wouldn't allow anyone to destroy it. He was willing to sacrifice himself to protect it, to use common people to mend the heavens, to sacrifice oneself for the people. Gu Chincha's heart was pumped up, and the heaven-mending energy started to circulate faster and faster. Division Heads, the Black Heaven Earth Sex Qinyao is here to discuss some matters. On this day, Gu Chansha and Lu Baiwe, the fourth, were reading documents and discussing various matters of the Calming Immortal Department. Suddenly, Jean Suebwa came in with a report. The Black Heaven Earth Sect has finally sent someone. Guqinsha seemed to have expected this. These days, he had captured Jing Fanxing, Jian Shinkong, and Xiao Wujin to make a big deal out of it, attacking Wu Dankong and Gu Tanjian so much that they didn't dare to come out. The calming immortal department had the upper hand in public opinion, so they took advantage of the situation to expand. Jean Suebua took the opportunity to push out a newspaper called the Calming Immortal News. It contained all sorts of interesting news, as well as minor pill refining techniques. At the same time, it discussed the world's events and publicized how the Calming Immortal Department had been collecting taxes from the Immortal Tao to subsidize the national treasury, making the imperial court rich and doing many things for the people. This way, everyone in the world would know whether or not the Calming Immortal Department was useful and how much merit they had. Naturally, many knowledgeable people would understand that if the Calming Immortal Department really collected taxes from the Celestial Tao to subsidize the imperial court, then how prosperous would the country be and how peaceful would the people be? That was indeed the case. The celestial tax collected by the Calming Immortal Department was equivalent to the annual income of the national treasury. Since the Calming Immortal Department collected taxes from the Celestial Tao, the imperial court started to reduce taxes on the people. Those struggling commoners had to pay heavy taxes in the past. Now, they were all exempted and they were even given subsidies. Before the Calming Immortal Department was established, the imperial court couldn't afford such a huge expenditure. Now that they had the Calming Immortal Department's talent, it was more than enough. Everyone understood how much potential the Celestial Tao had. For example, any random Tao realm transformation 7 cultivator could produce tens of thousands of commoners. Guqinsha was really satisfied with the Calming Immortal Department's development. The only obstacle was that the 3 mysterious sects definitely wouldn't give up on their 3 disciples. Sooner or later, they would send people over, so he was always on guard. Now that he heard that someone from Black Heaven Earth sect had come, he heaved a sigh of relief. This Qingyao isn't simple, Jean Suebua reminded. That year, when the Emperor entered the Heaven and Earth sect, she was the one who brought him. She is the most important elder of Heaven and Earth sect, and her cultivation can compare to many old antiques. She definitely can't be underestimated. She has such an identity. Guqinsha, Lu Baiwe, and the 4th all looked at one another. If that was the case, then Qingyao was really terrifying and tough to deal with. Since she came to visit, then we can't be angry at her. After thinking about it, Lu Baiwe made the decision. Since that is the case, then the 3 of us will go welcome her. The 3 of them came to the entrance and saw a girl wearing green clothes. She was really ethereal and green energy wrapped around her body, like she was gathering all the E-wood energy in the area. Guqinsha sensed that there was an aura similar to the Xuanwu god beast on her body. But the Xuanwu was of the water element, and this girl was of the wood element. Azure Dragon. Guqinsha immediately guessed that this girl was backed by the Azure Dragon sacred beast. The 3 of you must be the 3 department heads of the Calming Immortal Department. You are indeed young and promising. It was worth it for Trampling Immortal to pick you. Qingyao nodded. As an elder of the Heaven and Earth sect, I won't hide my purpose here. I want to take away Jing Fanxing, Xiao Wujin, and Jian Shinkong. What do you say? These 3 assassinated an official of the imperial court and violated the law. I'm afraid we can't let them go so easily. We'll have to hand them over to the emperor. Lu Baiwe flatly refused. Elder Qingyao and His Majesty had a close relationship back then, so you should know His Majesty's temper. Of course I didn't come empty-handed. Qingyao waved her hand. I brought a piece of Azure Dragon Divine Wood. It should be enough to compensate for their losses. Azure Dragon Divine Wood. On the other hand, Lu Baiwe and Gu Chincha's expressions changed slightly. The ancient Azure Dragon was the head of the 4 divine beasts, and the E-wood Qi possessed supreme, miraculous effects of creation. It could bring the dead back to life and repair everything. The Azure Dragon Divine Wood was an ancient divine wood that had been nurtured in the Azure Dragon's lair for many years. As long as one obtained a piece of it, it could be fused with any treasures. If it was fused with one's own Qi of divinity, it would possess supreme, nourishing effects. Who would have thought that the Black Heaven and Earth sect would pay such a huge price for these three? Very well. Since the Black Heaven and Earth sect is so straightforward, the calming immortal department won't say anything else. We'll give Elder Qing Yao some face. Lu Baiwe thought for a moment and agreed so quickly that Qing Yao smiled. You're indeed a heroine. So straightforward. This is the Azure Dragon Divine Wood. Qing Yao shook her hand, and a beam of azure light appeared in the calming immortal department's courtyard. It turned into a pillar as thick as a house beam. Azure light pulsed, and draconic energy boiled as if it wanted to soar beyond the 9 heavens. Chunsha, let them go. Lu Baiwen nodded without batting an eyelid. Gu Chansha waved his hand, and a nebula floated up from inside the calming immortal department. It wrapped around the three and brought them to Qingyao. The myriad stars flying immortal art has reached such a high level of mastery. Looks like when Hong did indeed personally impart his skills to you. Qingyao's expression changed. With a wave of her hand, the three disappeared without a trace. She then nodded and said, the world is changing. Immortals, demons, gods, and demons are restless. The immortal trampling art is about to go out of control. If the three of you find it hard to protect yourselves, come find me at the Black Heaven and Earth sect. Wen Hong is also a tribulation taker and may not be able to protect you. Plus, he's just using you. Thank you, but I won't see you out. Lu Baiwe didn't want to say anything else to Qingyao. Chapter 265. Why did you agree to Qingyao so readily? Why did you let them go just like that? The fourth frowned. When Father comes out of seclusion, these three people will be important witnesses to prove that Wu Dangkong and Gu Tanjian can't turn the tables. No one knows when His Majesty will come out of seclusion. No one knows when His Majesty will come out of seclusion. For the future of the Celestial Department of Tranquility, I have no choice but to preserve my strength. Qingyao was once His Majesty's guide, and His Majesty spent his youth with this woman. She knows His Majesty very well. She's here to exchange the Azure Dragon Divine Wood for Divine Wood. She's being polite before resorting to force. If we don't agree, I'm afraid she'll have even more powerful tricks up her sleeves. If we agree to let them go, they won't be able to use their next move. Gu Qinsha nodded. The Black Heaven Earth sect, the 9 Swords Mystic sect, and the Crimson Firmament Mystic sect must have sent Qingyao to test the waters. I will also use the myriad stars flying immortal art to disrupt the situation. It's all because our Celestial Commerce Department is not strong enough. The fourth prince also waved his hand. A poor man's ambition is stunted. If we had even 1% of Imperial Father's strength, we wouldn't have swallowed this humiliation. Right now, our Celestial Commerce Department is in the stage of accumulating strength. Lu Baiyue's eyes were sharp. The Black Heaven Earth Gate, Crimson Firmament Gate, and 9 Swords Gate are still worried about His Majesty. If he doesn't come out of seclusion soon, I'm afraid he will attack us. Fortunately, we've improved very quickly recently. Gu Chansha activated the astral energy in his body, his fighting spirit boiling. We have the Buzhou Palace, the Book of Heavenly Demon, the Dragon Gate, the 360 heaven-mending divine generals, and the Black Tortoise. As long as we can recover and buy time, we will definitely be able to compete with the 72 sections. Trainlong Zaifei, Lu Yu, and Lu Huaiyue. They are peerless geniuses with great potential. The fourth looked at the Azure Dragon Divine Wood. What are we going to do with this wood? The Black Heaven Earth Gate actually used this treasure to exchange for Jing Fanqing and the other two. But I suspect that there are many hidden restrictions inside this Azure Dragon Divine Wood. It's fine. Gu Chansha and Lu Baiyue exchange a glance. We'll start refining the Azure Dragon Divine Wood immediately. The fourth, you handle the outside matters for now. It seems that the two of you are very confident. The fourth nodded. In that case, the two of you can go into seclusion again. Gu Chansha and Lu Baiyue joined hands, unleashing a stream of Sciention astral energy that swept up the azure dragon divine wood and swallowed it into the dragon gate. At this moment, when Gu Chansha and Lu Baiyue's innate earth chi were connected, it could probably even roll up a mountain. Putting everything else aside, if Gu Chansha combined his innate gang chi, he would be able to overturn a small river. This was because there were 360 heaven-repairing divine generals in his body, and each of them had the strength of a Tao Realm 9 transformation J-Body Realm cultivator. The innate earth chi of a J-Body Realm cultivator could sweep up a house. With 360 of them working together, they could instantly empty a town with a population of a few thousand. The two of them swept up the azure dragon divine wood and immediately headed into the depths of calming celestial department to enter seclusion again. This time, the two of them entered the depths of the sun-moon altar in an instant. The azure dragon divine wood was also swept into the sun-moon altar. This azure dragon divine wood was as tall as 5 people and as thick as a person's waist. Green energy wrapped around it, and it gave off a dragon aura. There were also waves of ancient aura. This was a supreme treasure. What a good thing. Gu Qinsha said, "Unfortunately, there are definitely restrictions hidden in this azure dragon divine wood. They want to lure us to refine it and try to control it. That's for sure. The azure dragon divine wood is not to be underestimated." Lu Baiwei observed carefully. "We can't see anything wrong with it. How are you going to refine it this time?" "Sacrifice." A complacent smile appeared on Gu Chench's face. "I dare to conclude that there is someone hiding an extremely strong Yuan Shun in this azure dragon divine wood. I will sacrifice my soul. If there is no soul or Yuan Shun in this azure dragon divine wood, the heavenly Tao will not react. But if there is, good idea." Lu Baiwei also laughed. "Those old fellows in the Black Heaven Earth Gate probably would not have thought that they would be tricked by us instead. There's no time to lose." Gu Qinshan knew that the sun-moon altar was isolated from the outside world. No almighty being would be able to spy on them. He immediately used the sun-moon sacrificial art on the azure dragon divine wood. "Heavenly Tao above, my sacrificial art. Let my soul return to the heavens." The astral energy in Gu Chinch's hands changed again and again. Many sacrificial words appeared and struck the azure dragon divine wood. "I will sacrifice this soul to deduce my common people heaven-mending art." Gu Chinch's sacrifice was not to obtain the heavenly dew, nor was it to obtain any treasures. It was to borrow the power of the heavenly Tao to deduce and improve the common people heaven-mending art. If there was no soul in the azure dragon divine wood, his sacrifice would fail and he would not gain anything. Of course, he wouldn't lose anything either. This was the benefit of sacrificing to the heavenly Tao. If you sacrificed it to an evil god, even if it was a righteous god, the god would be furious and punish you if there was no sacrifice after you communicated with the god. Sacrificing to the heavenly Tao meant that there was no sacrifice. You would just gain nothing. Buzz. As expected, the heavenly Tao above the sun-moon altar received Gu Chench's summon. To accept the sacrifice, it instantly seeped into the depths of the azure dragon divine wood. Roar. A loud roar came from the azure dragon divine wood. This roar shook Lu Baiwei and Gu Chensha so much that they almost vomited blood. From this, one could see how strong the soul hidden within was. However, in front of the heavenly Tao, this hidden soul was powerless. Gu Chansha and Lu Baiwei saw an old man being pulled out from the azure dragon divine wood by the heavenly Tao. This old man was clad in a long robe made of 1,000 suns and moons. His feet stepped on a myriad of auspicious clouds, as if he was the only pillar between heaven and earth. Black Heaven Earth Sex Patriarch. Lu Baiwei immediately recognized this old man. If this old man wasn't the Black Heaven Earth Sex Patriarch in the records, who else could it be? Of course, this was only a trace of the Patriarch's primordial spirit. However, An expert like this old man was no different from a sage. Even if it was just a trace of his primordial spirit, it was enough to tear through space and move mountains and seas. Unfortunately, no matter how strong his primordial spirit was, it could not contend against the heavenly Tao. Who would have thought that the black heaven-earth sex patriarch would actually hide his primordial spirit within the azure dragon divine to plot against us? As long as we refine it, this primordial spirit will be able to enter our souls unknowingly and completely control some important things. Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe both knew what was going on. This calculation was really vicious. The patriarch actually plotted against them personally. Unfortunately, Gu Qinsha had the heaven sacrifice talisman. The black heaven-earth sex patriarch went for wool and came home shorn. This hidden primordial spirit was actually sacrificed by Gu Qinsha in exchange for the heavenly Tao's divination. Even though this primordial spirit continued to struggle and roar, it was wrapped up by the heavenly Tao's power and could not do anything. Kacha! The heavenly Tao's power swept this primordial spirit away, and then it turned into a giant shadow. This was actually a transformation of the heaven-mending technique. Rumble! This shadow entered Gu Qinsha's mind. Instantly, the heaven-mending Big Dipper energy in his body changed once more. The originally huge Big Dipper energy was compressed and condensed. The changes behind the heaven-mending technique, as well as the parts that Gu Qinsha did not comprehend, were all improved. This was the divination of the heavenly Tao, one that exceeded the divination of many saints. With a portion of the black heaven-earth sex patriarch's primordial spirit as a sacrifice, the heavenly Tao's power could be said to be earth-shattering. Under such a divination, Gu Qinsha's strength improved by another level. After this technique was perfected, it could be compared to the essence of the Book of Sky Demon, or even exceeded. After all, the many demon race saints who wrote the Book of Sky Demon didn't have the complete wisdom of the heavenly Tao. Under the divination of the heavenly Tao's power, the heaven-mending technique was gradually perfected and improved once more. Gu Qinsha's heaven-mending Big Dipper energy circulated and affected the 360 heaven-mending generals in the Dragon Gate. These generals' bodies shone brightly, and they breathed in and out essence energy. It seemed like they also had hope of advancing. After a long while, the light calmed down. Gu Qinsha looked at the green dragon divine wood, and a smile appeared on his face. Just now, he had communicated with Lu Baiwe with his intent, allowing Lu Baiwe to also obtain the complete heaven-mending technique. In the past, the heavenly Tao had also divined the heaven-mending technique once. Now it had improved. Good. Lu Baiwe nodded her head. Gu Qinsha's heaven-mending technique was perfected and his body's earth energy was refined. This was a huge benefit to her. Now that the problems with the green dragon divine wood are removed, we can refine it and merge it into your Dragon Gate. Your Dragon Gate will be strengthened. During the process of forming the Dragon Gate, we can absorb the green dragon divine wood to expand the limits of our bodies. One must know that the power of the green dragon divine wood is the most magical power. If one cultivates to the golden core of the Tao realm 18 transformation and has the green dragon divine wood to merge into one's body, one will have a high chance of breaking through to the Tao realm 19 transformation. Gu Qinsha had read before that the ancient green dragon divine wood was tainted with the power of the green dragon and had the ability to expand the limits of one's body. After refining the green dragon divine wood, be it Lu Baiwe or Gu Qinsha, the toughness of their bodies and their capacity would increase greatly. It would be beneficial for their future cultivation. At this moment, Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe worked together once more to activate the Buzhou Palace in the Sun Moon Altar. The Buzhou Palace was really good at breaking down materials and refining treasures. The Buzhou Palace was constantly absorbing the power of the stars and storing it in various parts of the palace. When something happened, it would activate it. The green dragon divine would enter the center of the Buzhou Palace. Suddenly, Many cannons shot out from the depths of the palace and blew up the green dragon divine wood. Without the Buzhou Palace, just Liu Baiwei and Gu Chansha would need a few months to refine the green dragon divine wood. With the Buzhou Palace, in just dozens of breaths, the green dragon divine wood was broken down into pure essence energy. This was the Calamity Star Cannon of the Buzhou Palace. It gathered the power of the stars to form cannon. With one strike, everything would be wiped out. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.